carved in stone divine. It's all about your top four, nothing more. Rushmore Show kicking down the door, ranking the icons, the greats we adore. It's all about your top four, nothing more.
This is a Rushmore Show where it's all about your top four and nothing more. Andy, I just got an error sending it off to Facebook. Genesis is in the house. She has her own channel now. Genesis, we will see you guys soon. Hey, Prez Head. I like that. I like that little Prez Head. Francisco Ruiz. Don't call him Roy. He won't like it. But, hey, go check out
Name's not Roy.
Juggernauts. Yeah, we don't have a little... He has like a little icon thing that if you say that, it like, I'm not Roy, but we don't have that. But he is the creator of Junkyard Juggernauts. And while he's here, everybody, Junkyard Juggernauts on Kickstarter, go support. I have to do mine still. I have to still do mine. Waiting for this big go. Name ain't Roy. Yeah, exactly. Laugh out loud. So if you guys want to know why his name ain't Roy, you will have to go and watch his show. And I believe that particular show, was it Indiana Jones or Goonies? No, it was Quartermain, wasn't it? Wasn't it Quartermain? Anyways, who's here? Robert Pops Springs. Hello, Kirk and Andy. Yeah, R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne. We're talking about nostalgia, and that is some nostalgia, especially for Andy. He is huge in the metal scene, and we lost him. So, and Andy loves metal. That's kind of his deal. I like metal too, but I know that Andy is very passionate about metal. So, Andy, what do you think about that?
Today, I literally never imagined would happen. I mean, we know it's going to happen, but
yeah.
And I think the fact that there's a lot of poetic nature to it. You know, his last concert a few days ago.
Yeah.
Last song, Mama, I'm Coming Home. Like, just yeah. I did get the honor. I did get to go see him several years ago at Ozfest. So it was a concert I was able to see. Not Black Sabbath, but Ozzy. So
I am a fan. I'm not a huge fan. I am a fan. I like his music. It's not something I'll ever turn off. It's not ever something I would actually probably go, hey, I want to listen to some Ozzy. But when it's there, I thoroughly enjoy it.
He's the pioneer, though. He's the guy.
He's a pioneer. And he's also a pioneer of reality TV, which I wish we could have done without.
Sharon!
Yeah, so, hey, we got 6 people in the house. Make sure you hit the like. We got a great show for you guys tonight.
Real quick, why are we live on a Tuesday, though?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We got a great show for you. It's up on a Tuesday. You know, up on a Tuesday. That's a New Orleans thing. That's going to set your ladders out because it's Fat Tuesday. But we are we're live on a Tuesday because last week, Andy, I was in Louisiana. And last week I went to camp. And you know, guys, we go to camp, not fat camp, you know, not not stay away summer camp, but it's church camp, man. And we go to church. And we spend time worshiping and doing our thing and yelling at little kids to pick their clothes up, yelling at them to put their shoes on and to get out of the dorm because you shouldn't be in here without any parental adults. Hey, David Bryant Piano in the house. I met David this week. And that's another thing we did. And I'll get to that in a second. Owazrim's there. Sounds fun. But Andy, I had a blast at camp, and this year, and today we're talking about nostalgia triggers, by the way. And this year was, I felt more, you know, the first year was weird. You know, I came back for the first time, not being the leader in a while, kind of under your tutelage. That's a good word. We talked about good words. Tutelage. I was under your tutelage. And kind of like following and just trying to be the best leader I could be. And this year, it was just kind of extra impactful. My whole family is, quote unquote, out of full-time ministry soon. and kind of making that trip down there and spending time in the same altars that both of us got called to ministry. I got called in those altars under Pastor Allen. You got called under me in a different setting as kind of a leader helping the pastor type thing. And just seeing where you are and where the church is as far as growth and students was really amazing. And I get to bring my son back. It's your daughter's last go, your oldest. It's my youngest's last go next year, I believe. But he got called to ministry this week, Andy. And I said, "Hey, what'd you get called to?" And he said, "Dad, I think I'm called to both be a athlete and to be a pastor." I said, "So maybe you're called to be a chaplain for sports." Yeah, that's what it is. And so when you asked, he said, "What are you called to?" He's like, "Baseball." And I was like, "Well, that's funny, but okay." Yeah, look at Robert Pop Springs. Bud people, hey, Bud Files. Hello, peoples. Hello, governor. Robert Pop Springs says, "I have been listening to Sabbath or Ozzy since 74. I was 5 years old. Don't do the math. You'll figure out how old Robert is. My first concert was in 1981, Blizzard of
Blizzard of
Oz concert. I was 11. So, yeah. So, yeah, 55, huh? All right. So there's that. 55, 56. So you're about 10 years, 10, 11 years older than me, Robert. But we love you having here. Hey, Bud Files. So, anyways, really good time, Andy. I had a blast. I hope you had a blast. I can't wait till next year already. And I think we are going to I think God's kind of calling our ministry to do something similar.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not. We've kind of bounced around. Are we a church? Are we not? Are we a ministry? Are we not? Are we this? I really feel that we can come in and support. I've been watching a lot of our friends, and they go in and they preach like Dave Rimbolt, pop culture pastor, and they preach at people's place, supporting both their ministry and the other ministry. But I think, Andy, that it would be amazing if one year you, me, our youth groups, your youth groups, our kids, your kids, go down to a camp, whether it's our camp or not, and preach for four days and kind of be the leaders and show pop culture kind of like what we do would be so fun. And I'm going to pray on that because I think both of us are really good speakers with kids. And I think it would be a really good fun time. And I think it would open some doors for us. So I love what happened this week. So, Andy, what have you been doing since then, though?
Well, I was going to say one of my nostalgia triggers tonight is this show because the show feels nostalgic because I haven't been here in so long.
Well, yeah,
not,
of course, the show is definitely nostalgic.
Yeah. I just, for me personally, because I haven't been here. No, 2 weeks ago, my wife was staffing camp, so I just went and visited her. So I think Arkansas Picker, I hate that I had to miss that episode. And then MSX Retro, like I had to miss. And I want to thank Matt, Dusty Flotilla, for being Andy for a night. So that's probably a prize no one's ever
Matt told me last night he's in every show that you need him. And he's coming in. We already booked him again for 2 more shows.
I love that. Yeah. And then last week, like you said, was camp. So glad to be back. Glad
and right now you're doing VBS, right?
Oh, and I'm in the middle of VBS right now. We just finished day 2 today. And
so before we jump in, Saturday, I get home from camp, should take a break. I got to finish my master's. I've got 2 more classes, but like 1 more week left. And so I had to turn in some papers. So I hung around, did that. And hey, Bryce J. Dub in the house. I got to hug some necks this week. Talk about that really quickly. But I went, my son had had tryouts for his team. We finally got a full team. So we're going to be traveling a lot with our travel baseball team. And then Saturday night, we went to watch the Yankees play. And they won on, not a walk-off because they were playing away, but in the ninth, a grand slam to go ahead, which was awesome. And all the Braves fans walked out the door, and it was kind of fun. All the Yankee fans kind of took over. That was awesome. My son was like, Dad, I love coming to these games now because I finally understand what's going on. So that was a fun, nostalgic moment that will come up in 30 years. And then this week, I've got both Cannon and I's event guide, also my badge, but you don't need no stinking badges. Here's my camp badge. Well, right there. We don't need no stinking badges. But
can't see mine in camera.
Yeah, but anyways, we went to
Dark.
Siege, and we only got to go to Siege on Sunday. And man, what an amazing event it was. So this is really cool, Andy. In this book, they did a whole bunch of really cool stuff, but they kind of headline like a yearbook all of the guests that were there. Look at this craziness. These are all like internet personalities. Bryce J. Dub, he's on here, right there. Bang! And both of our guests are on here. PnX and all them. Yeah, all these people are in here. It's wild. Like they were all kind of hanging out and doing things, and it just was fun. And you mentioned Arkansas Picker. I got a picture with him. I got pictures with Keith Courage, who is picking preacher now. I got pictures with everybody, and we just really had a great time. So we also were able to lock in. Mort is coming back on. We were able to lock in. Oh, we got Russ Lyman and those guys. They're on in a couple weeks, but we've got Minato Max. He's coming on. We locked in him. We locked in Railbound Games. We locked in G to the Level. We locked in a couple people that are coming on the show in January and February. If you guys want to be on the show with them, with these guys, let me know what Thursday you want to be on in January or February, and we'll lock that in. But hey, we're already 12 minutes in. We haven't even started. Let's get this thing going. Andy, we are going to do. Andy, can you hit the thing?
I can.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Hello,
I can do
Drew.
things.
Isaac is in the house. Today we are going to do top 4 nostalgia triggers. Let's get it. All right. So, top 4 nostalgia triggers. Before we start talking about that, let's get our guests out here. Isaac, we miss you, man. We need to get you back on the show. We missed your opportunity this year, but we still want you on the show. I hope everything's going well with your family and everything going on. And we still got to catch up because I know that you were needing some prayers back then. So, Isaac, we're thinking of you. We love you. We're praying for you. And I'm glad you're here and saying hello. So, hey, let's invite our friends to the channel. So, these guys have been following us for a minute, right? They have at least since the big boom of the video game creators in the beginning of the year. And I think I kind of happenstance on their Instagram or something, and just a great channel.
Happenstance. There's another good word.
There's another word.
Man,
So, guys, we're
these
building our words, a Rushmore of words. Tutelage, happenstance. What was the one you said yesterday? The other day?
Skedaddle is a good one.
Skedaddle. Well, let's skedaddle on over and get our guys out here. So I was over there in the channel. I said hello, and then I just kind of lurked for a little bit. I always lurk in people's channels just to kind of see who they are, if they would fit our vibe, if we fit their vibe, before I go, hey, we got this thing. You want to come in? And man, they are perfect for this. They always are showing up. They always have fun comments. They always have great people in the chat. Let's welcome to our channel for the very first time, PnX World. That's for Pammy and Xavi. Welcome these guys on the show. Right, here they are.
Hey.
They're finally here.
Yes, what's up, guys?
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a minute. We finally have you. And then, before you guys shout out your amazing channels and everything that's going on, let's get our other guest out here. I actually met him 1 year ago, yesterday, I guess. I mean, I don't think the show was 1 year ago, but I met him at Siege last year, and he had a booth there. And I usually rock the curly mustache, right? And so I was walking around with the curly mustache. Hey, B2 in the house, Barry. And I was walking by and I said, "Hey, man, that's a nice mustache." And he was kind of his cosplay is Dr. Robotnik or Eggman, And I was like, "Man, that's a cool mustache." And he applied. Whenever you have facial hair, unlike what Andy's got going on now.
Hey, it's coming back.
It's coming back. And you always acknowledge somebody. You always walk by and Javi, I'm sorry, you don't ever really get that nod, but you walk by and you look and you're like, yeah, I see that. Boom, I got you. And I saw it, and then we just connected. Big Genesis guy, big Sega guy. Welcome to the show, Owazrim, and look at that old thou shall not pass. Yeah. So when I met him last year, it was just a mustache. So that beard's less than a year old. So
how about that?
So welcome to the show, both you guys, both PnX and Owazrim. Let's start with PnX. PnX, share with all 6 of them that are here right now, and hopefully whoever watches later, share with them why you're doing a video game creation channel. What brought you in to this space? What got you motivated? What can people come over and see, and where should they go to see? It's your time to shine.
Yeah, so we started about, I want to say about a year and a half ago, that we started the channel. It all kind of like started a little bit out of randomness. Like Pammy finally pushed me to go to garage sales and stuff like that, and I finally wanted to work on the game room. And so we started buying like old retro games and stuff like that. And then at one of them, I found a GoPro and for $10, and I bought it, and we started recording, and then just kind of like just came on from there. We figured we're gonna be out here garage selling and making deals and stuff like that. We might as well just film it and put it on YouTube. And I think it cemented itself more when we went to Siege. Honestly, which is what I was gonna say. It was pre-Siege. It's kind of meant to be that we're all here right now because we found each other through I think our Siege video.
That's right.
And we remember us from Siege, where he was like you said, he had his cosplay, and I remember seeing Pammy. I was like, oh my god, look at that! That's such a realistic cosplay. And like it all comes through Siege. We love Siege, and we just also came back from there, which was an amazing time. It's just such a party.
Which does remind me, Javi, that I need to hashtag Siege in YouTube for all the videos that are coming out in the next week, because people,
you do.
Some are like live immediately, and some are like editing them, and they'll be out like this weekend and in between. And last year, I think that's how I found you guys. I was just looking for other Siege videos and just being like, who was there? Why were you there? And how can I go? So video game space for us has been very equitable in the community, because
I agree.
We can meet somebody in the movie TV space. We can meet somebody in the food space. We can meet somebody in sports, but usually they come and they hang out for like a show or two, and then they're off and doing their own thing because they're off back doing their sports. But for whatever reason, video games just transcends across all of these topics, which we've done. We've got a sports video game topic coming up in sports. We've had we're in nostalgia right now and got video game guys. And I think if we did video games 52 times a year, our channel would probably spike tremendously. But what we found is that the community, regardless, is here. And everybody that shows up on the channel brings their little community with them, and we all kind of just get along. And it's always just been a real good show. And so, go ahead.
like this weekend, I was talking to my mom about it, and I'm like, I truly felt like we were partying in the '90s. Like, we went to this place called Pinky's Arcade. Even at CG, like, one, the reception's terrible, but two, like, it's just so nice to just kind of hang out, have all this face-to-face communication. And it's funny because, like, you know, when you think video game, you don't think face-to-face. But then if you take it back in the '90s, yeah, we were sitting together in a room all playing video games. So it just brings such like a cool energy. We've met great people, and yeah, like we're parents, and for the first time in like probably 5 years, someone invited us to a party that didn't include chicken nuggets and happy birthday song at the end. So
Hey, nothing wrong with the chicken nuggets.
nothing wrong with chicken nuggets. We'll eat chicken nuggets all day. It's just
No, we're still here because of the retro community, and the good thing about video games is that it really encompasses a lot of things. There's sports video games, there's music video games, there's cartoon video games. It's like it just encompasses so much, and everything is so much attached to it. It's kind of like a focal point. But the community is really awesome, and that's really why we're still here and we're having fun, and you know we're enjoying the growth that we're seeing, mainly because
I will say this, it's really funny. Like last year I walked in and I was just like, hi, my name's Kirk, I'm with the Rushmore Show, can I take a picture with you guys? And this year I walked in and I was like, hey, Rushmore Show, and I'm like, who are you? And it wasn't like I was famous or anything. It's just like the community is so interconnected. And I'm like, oh, what's your channel? Let me go to yours. And and it's just like such a cool vibe. Almost every person there, I say every person, but like every booth, every table, almost every one of them have some kind of YouTube, Instagram, something that they're sharing like information. And a lot of them have that. And it's like, hey, let's connect. And the community is just amazing there. I wish I could have gone all 3 days. Maybe next year.
by the third day you're cooked, honestly. If you met me on the third day, first day Pam versus third day Pam, we're two different Pams. I was cooked. I was done. I was like, nice to meet you.
Yeah. So, Owazrim, let's get to you. What is up with your channel? You've got a pretty nice following over on Twitch. I was hanging out there yesterday. Got like 900 folks hanging out watching you play video games. That's pretty cool. Twitch is such a anomaly for me. One, we don't play enough video games live yet. I wish we did. But two, the algorithm is like word of mouth there. It's like it's almost non-existent. So tell us all about what you're doing. I know you got a YouTube as well. Share with everybody your love for video games, your love for just nostalgia, and where they can find you.
Well, I mean, I think I need to just like take it to where my Twitch started, which was I was watching Twitch and watching some guys, and like the guy was really entertaining. It was fun to watch, but like his language and stuff, I just did not care for it. And I was like, you know, I want to make something that my daughter could enjoy because she was quite young at the time. And so I just started streaming. And, you know, I didn't really have much in the way of the ability to play consoles. So I didn't have a capture card. But I started getting stuff along the way. And that was back in like 2015. So I've been doing it for a while, just doing it when I can. But it's just great to be able to, you know, meet people that have like-mindedness with what you enjoy. And, you know, like you said, even with the facial hair, you see somebody with a good facial hair, you're like, dude, that's nice. What, you know, like I asked several people, like, you know, what do you use in your mustache or whatever to keep it nice and straight? But the community is great. The community is what's the best part about SIGI and any convention is the community and the friends you make, the friends that you meet from videos, and recognize. You just start to recognize people over and over as you go. Yeah. It's great. But you can find me on Twitch, on YouTube. I stream with another group called Scanline Heroes. I started doing a little bit of a podcast called Sega Dudes Podcast. But I'm on Twitter or X, Facebook. I'm trying to figure out how to get on Instagram because I tried to create an account and it got banned because I didn't set it up properly. I don't know. But yeah, love my Sega stuff. I had first console growing up was a Sega Genesis, so it's got near and dear to my heart. And there's so many things that are nostalgic. It was tough to come up with ones like, okay, what's going to be interesting, but also maybe kind of odd, because some of that odd stuff kind of calls to me. If you can see some of this, like this is a SG 1000 Model 2. No one knows what it is and nobody cares, but I do.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, we connected with the guy. Well, Kirk did with a guy at camp this week who had a nice mustache too, and it's funny. That's how they introduce themselves. Hey, nice mustache, and then it's like everything about them. So
yeah, he kind of looked like you last year. Bald head, no nothing, just a cool little whoop-de-doop.
Yeah.
But let's get this thing going. Everybody in the chat, follow along with us. You're a part of the Summit Squad now, and say hello. Hit the like button. Follow along. Hit the chat. We are talking about top 4 nostalgia triggers. We talked in the green room, and Pammy's going first, and then Javi, and then Owazrim, me, and yeah. Oh, by the way, you weren't here, but we said ladies first, so it's gonna be you guys. So here's the deal. This is gonna be a little different kind of show because I feel a lot of what these nostalgia triggers are gonna be are very personal. Like something about family members, something about a time in your life and a specific moment. So I think a lot of these are going to be since they are personal, the criteria is kind of important at one level. And the criteria just shares why this is your favorites. And George has to be the NES Zapper. That is awesome because it's the trigger. And then, with that being said, Pammy, you're up. You're up. We call him Rosie for Roosevelt. That's number 4 on the mountain. And you're going to start us off today. But before you do, tell us kind of what you were thinking when you were curating. Another cool word. Curating your list.
I wish you would have told me. First, I wish you would have told me that was going first. But that's okay. So, what was your what do you mean curating?
Like what?
So when you were making your list, kind of what were you thinking? Like, what was kind of the parameters you were using to build it?
So for me, it was like not like necessarily what made me happiest, but like what provided me with the strongest memory, right? Like there's one on my list that you could like maybe say it's not the best memory, but it is something that was like a core memory. And it kind of like did help me develop as a person versus like,
Pammy went with the inside out parameter.
They can't all be happy. Some of them are just core memories, and they also make you.
Yeah, that's
my TED Talk, guys.
All right, so you've got your Rosie, number 4 on your list. Start this mountain off. What's your first? Well, number 4, but your first one you're going to mention tonight, nostalgia triggers. What you got?
So this could be number 1. But
I think almost all of mine could be number 1. So you're good.
I know. It's very hard. And I had some people say a weird childhood, but I disagree. I think it's perfectly normal and fine. So number 4 for me would be going to the mall and the original Hot Topic.
Oh my God.
That's a good pull. Tell us why Hot Topic. That is a great pull.
So I can't when I go into the new Hot Topic, I think like you're wrong. Everything here is wrong. Where's the gates? So for me, the original Hot Topic, me and my cousin used to go in and we had those like chain, I forget what they're called, like the skater balls or whatever. And we kept on fighting for like, you could find the biggest one. And then at one point I found one right outside the Hot Topic floor. And I go and I return it to the sales lady and she's like, hey, we don't sell them this size. It's yours. Keep it. And I'm like 12. And I'm like kind of worried I'm stealing, but I'm also elated because my mom wouldn't buy them for me. So I showed them to my cousin, like my cousin and I used to have sleepovers and stuff. I showed them to my cousin. I'm like, my balls are bigger. So we had like the whole thing. And yeah, they still could be to this day. I don't know. But yeah, the original mall Hot Topic, I have so many memories in front of that store. There was a mall right by my house where I grew up. So it was just like, and then we had like one girl in our neighborhood who couldn't go in the Hot Topic. And then she should give me money to go in the Hot Topic, and I'm like, my mom doesn't care. I can go in the Hot Topic. So it was, yeah, I love the old school Hot Topic.
Isaac says, I will never forget when the stud belts were cool and I got my first Hot Topic. LOL. Yeah. Andy, I know you love Hot Topic.
This. See, like me and PnX, like we're like, there's a lot of things that we
Yeah, you guys
on,
can hang
sure. Funny story about this. I totally agree. Original Hot Topic, it's totally different. I remember when they started selling like Lil Wayne shirts in there. I was like, what's happening to Hot Topic? You know? But I actually scrolled across the thing the other day that said, remember when we used to have to go buy our memes? And like they had all those graphic T-shirts.
Those graphic tees.
Like the stupid bunny and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the bunny. That's exactly what I was thinking. And like everyone loved Jack Skellington because that was all Hot Topic.
Or like you'd get like Kermit in the Hood with his Calvin Klein jeans sagging or something.
So, but funny story about Hot Topic. Everything you said, right? I wore the trip pants. We did all that kind of stuff back in the day. But when my band went on a tour in like 2000, it was like 9-ish or so. We went through one town in Florida. We were somewhere in Florida. I think we were in Jacksonville. We stopped at a mall. Anyway, we were somewhere. And we went to the Hot Topic, and we had a tour bus. We were nobody. We made a horrible financial decision to get a tour bus, but it was super fun. It was a great story. We've talked about it before in the show before. But anyway, we stop at this mall, and these Hot Topic employees, poor Hot Topic employees, think that we're somebody big, right? So they're like, hey, do you want to play your CD through our speakers and like, do a signing? And we're like, absolutely we do. So this really cool moment where we got to like set up a signing table at Hot Topic, and we were nobody, like at all.
Florida,
but our music was playing in Hot Topic. It was kind of this like full circle, like, wow, I used to like idolize this store, and now my music's playing inside of it, and I'm doing this thing. And like three people showed up, and they didn't know who we were. I remember there was a girl from Romania who came and thought we were like really big or something. Anyway. Tons of fun. Hot Topic. I love that pick.
You guys were really big, right?
Not really.
I mean,
not big enough to have a signing at a Hot Topic. I mean, we weren't that.
Who else did you play with? You played with 12 Stone. Didn't you play with like Cannibal Corpse or something? No, you wanted to play. You gave
we didn't open for Cannibal Corpse. We opened for Black Dahlia Murder.
That's cool though. Black Dahlia.
That was a highlight for us for sure.
So wait, did you open for Cannibal Corpse or not? I missed that.
No.
Oh.
We went and talked.
You guys handed him your tape.
I gave my demo to Corpse Grinder, and he was the nicest guy I've ever met. So I mean,
yeah, more people are great. I've heard.
Cannibal Corpse.
I did go see them a few times.
Owazrim, what do you think about Hot Topic?
I don't really remember the OG Hot Topic because I remember I was probably a little bit too old for it when it came out. And I was like, that's just a weird place, man. Don't go in there. Weird stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm a little older than you, and maybe in Louisiana it was still, I don't know. I liked Hot Topic. I liked Spencer's. Spencer's kind of came out after that. But like all those types of like stores kind of like came at the same time. And what I remember is kind of like going in and being like, seeing things I shouldn't see.
Right.
That's it, exactly.
Like why is it in the mall?
I was like, wait a second, isn't this the mall? What is that? Yeah. And so
that's how
please.
What you could see, or like right when you walked in or when you were walking by, you're like, this is really strange. I don't know what to make of this. And so I never really went in.
If it was something sexual or drug paraphernalia or some other kind of thing, you're like, I don't know if I should be in here or not, but I'm here. And
they just let anyone walk back there. It's
what's
not
up,
even like.
I bet. Wait, Kevin, you just got here. I bet Kevin has a comment on this. Kevin, her first pick was going into the OG Hot Topic. For you guys that don't remember, Kevin, I'm glad you're here because I was thinking about nostalgia today, and a lot of things that came up were like hanging out with you. So he was my friend from like 8th grade. And what do you think about Hot Topic, Kevin? And anybody else in the chat? I love looking at the posters in the back. That's another thing.
I bet you did.
The posters in the back. Smash that like, Mr. Cleese. Yes, sir. And everybody go follow all these guys. Real life perspective. Yeah. Mr. Cleese, Isaac. Isaac's trying to be a sportscaster. And how about them Yankees, bro? They're winning right now. Anyways, Yeah, weird stuff. Weird stuff.
You go 2/3 of the way into Spencer's and you're transported to a new world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're 35 minutes in and we've only done one.
All right,
So
well,
we need to get going. Avi,
All right,
you're up.
I'm
What's
going.
yours?
So you were right. To some extent, these are going to be a little bit personal, and this one's probably going to be the one that's like very like pretty personal in the sense of what I'm going to pick. My criteria was mostly stuff that just triggers specific memories, and this one it triggers a few of them, mostly because for those of you who know, I was originally born in Ecuador. We used to come to travel here every year, and the season that we always come here was winter. So winter to me is very nostalgic because it literally transports me to all those vacations. Like every time there's winter, I feel like it's 1990s USA.
He
for
loves
me.
winter. I don't like winter.
Every time that I'm walking around and I see like old buildings that kind of resemble the 90s and it's winter, I you know, if Back to the Future has ever become more real, like those definitely are one of those things for me, because I just immediately go back in time and I started just remember a bunch of things from the 90s and a bunch of memories of being in both Miami and like South Florida. And which I know it doesn't get that cold there, but during the winter, there's a few weeks that it gets cold. So, you know, when it's those nice breeze and those nice winter cold days, even here in Georgia, like it still transports me back. And to me, winter is very nostalgic. I always tell Pammy can vouch for me here that every time there's winter, I was like, I don't know, it smells like the 90s for me. Something about it just makes it smell like the 90s, and it just brings this rush of memories.
So it sounds like you like winter. You like
I love winter.
He doesn't love
I
winter.
love winter.
I
love winter.
I will say this. I love it freezing in my house and hot outside of my house.
I agree.
I like it to where when I go outside, I can do summer and spring things, avoid the Georgia pollen as much as I can, but like go out and actually do things and then come inside and have it as cold as I want. When it's cold outside, especially here in Georgia and in the South, people don't know how to drive. People don't people don't do anything. There's nothing fun really happening.
No, everything closes.
Everything closes. They're like, the world is ending.
It's wonderful.
Snowmageddon 98, you know. But anyways, I'm not a huge fan of winter, but there are a lot of things in the winter that I love. And you know, winter comes around, the holidays and just all the things that surround that, Christmas lights, I love winter. I do. But if I could pick, I'm a spring summer guy, and I'm sad it's almost over.
I'm a fall person all the way. Fall all day.
I love spring when you got those 2 or 3 weeks where it's nice and just the humidity's low and it's cool. You can go out and go out and do whatever you want, like yard work, and not kill yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not a winter.
Kevin is so right, and this is how I felt putting my list together today, Kevin. He said, "I'm sure our parents thought of Hot Topic like I think of half the crap my kids are into now. I'm old and out of touch feeling." Yeah, and that's so true. Like, I've come to the spot where, like, like brain rot, right? This brain rot thing that is just like these kids love it, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I go back and I go, well, when I was a kid, I used to say some weird stuff too, and then we'd have these different sayings and stuff, and it's no different, right? Like, but yeah, I understand that tremendously.
Yeah.
Owazrim,
I'm not a winter guy. I'll say that.
Oh, yeah.
I prefer. I know that it's hot. I'm in South Louisiana. That's just the reality of what we deal with. But I would rather that most of the time. I will say the only. I mean, I say the only. I like things that happen during the winter. Like I love Christmas, right? I love Thanksgiving. I love not that. I mean, I know that's fall, but you know, it's getting a little bit cooler. I like those things. But when it goes outside and it hurts because it's so cold, I just don't. I'm not a fan of that.
I think winter should end January 2nd, and then again,
The winter should last. What would that be, like 7 days?
I'm fine with this.
Well,
That's
I
good.
go like down here in
Either
the
fall,
south.
winter,
It's
and then
hottest in August and coldest in like January, February.
yeah, that's what
So
I'm
it's
saying.
not even that
So,
cold.
like, all right, I'll give you till January 15th, and then I'll see you later.
No, I want it to stop. I don't like it cold in January and February. I agree. Yeah.
No.
All right. Owazrim, what is your first trigger? Trigger warning.
This
First,
is,
give us
I
your
think this will hit a
criteria,
lot of
then tell us
people,
trigger.
especially our age. But proper Toys R Us.
Mm.
Walking into a proper Toys R Us, and I say proper because you can walk into Macy's now
Proper.
and they have a toy section, but
It's a joke.
like, you can't go in there. And when back in my day, the only way to really see the new games was you had to go to a store, and they had to have a kiosk, and then you could the demo kiosk was
The demo
in front of it and
kiosk,
play.
yeah.
And I just remember playing Sonic 2. I think it was Airbonk or Zonk or Bonk's Adventure. I don't remember all of them, but just so many different games that like that's your first like interaction or knowing about them and seeing them in action.
Oh, Waz, we got a friend.
Saying he's one of the guys I do the Sega Dudes podcast with.
Yeah, it was.
So welcome in,
Loves
Sagan.
his toys. Welcome in.
I do.
I'm going to shoot you a wrench since you're here, and thanks for coming. You're a part of now the Summit Squad, just for being here. And let's give him the old Summit Squad hello.
Boom. And
Essentially, that just allows me to tell you we go on a little hunt for our top fours, and you can follow along with us. And we're talking triggers, and we're in the first round, and Awaz has picked Toys R Us. So, yeah.
proper Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Proper Toys R Us.
Proper Toys R Us.
Yeah, really quick, just to add to that, just because back in that day, you had to go into the aisle, you sit there and flip over the little cards and look at the graphics on the back and look at the the cover artwork and look at the back, and you look at the price tag underneath it in the little paper. You grab the paper, you take it to the register after you paid for it, and then you go to this giant cage and you just sit there and look through the cage and like, oh my gosh, look at all these games, and you'd be like, where's the one that I'm buying? But you take it back to the cage, you hand them the paperwork, and they'd go and grab it and bring it to you and hand it to you, and then you'd walk out with it. Man, it was another time just thinking about it.
That was the one, well, not the one comment, but one of the comments I was going to share is one of my favorite things was like is going through that set, that flap, whatever. And I remember grabbing like 4 or 5 of those papers and holding them and being like, do I want this one? Do I want these 2 for 40 or this one for 50? Or what about if I do these 3? And kind of like making those decisions with my parents. I remember kind of like flipping through it. I will say this though, I am a KB Toys guy because I worked there. My sister worked there. And Toys R Us was always, so in our mall, we had KB, and then across the street from the mall was Toys R Us. And so a lot of us went to the mall, and when you went to Playland Toys, KB Toys, and then we usually got what we wanted, so we never went to Toys R Us. But when like Toys R Us was like a whole journey, like because it was its own like department store, and I loved going over there. I did a lot more shopping at Toys R Us actually when I was in the military than anything, because that was the best place in Biloxi, Mississippi, to get video games was at Toys R Us. And so we would take the little bus down there, and same thing, those little papers.
I think
Andy,
to
you like
me,
Toys R Us?
yeah, I think to me, and I don't want to like step on toes if this is something that maybe gets brought up later, but Pammy, you kind of touched on it, and then same here with the Waz. Like if I think of it in a bold sense, like in a broad sense, something about the aesthetic of these department stores or even stores in the malls is to me what evokes more nostalgia. It's not only obviously yes, Toys R Us, the like we all have scoliosis problems because we were staring up playing the demo game, right? Like because it was so hard. But like those things, but also the mascot, right? Like and the jingle and the look and the colors and the
I don't
you
want
walk
to
in
grow
the
up
feel of
because
the
I'm a
store.
Toys R Us kid.
Yeah, like everything about that and you know, now it's like you would watch commercials, like toy commercials would come on. Now it's like, I know there's ads and there's different things like that, but I don't know. I feel like this is definitely the get off my lawn episode.
Well, with that being said, Andy, while I start mine, why don't you go
Oh,
and find that amazing intro that you did with
goodness.
with old Toys R Us in mind.
Yeah. Well,
I know which episode it is. It's
What
Top
episode?
4 Toys
Top 4 Toys. That was year
with
one.
Jason Nupp. And Jason Nupp's going to be on soon. Jason, Top 4 Toys. Go get that intro.
We did a dramatic reading. I did a dramatic reading of the Toys R Us jingle.
Yeah, so let me get into mine. So, listen, Andy and I were talking, and honestly, I was like, okay, let's fumble through the senses. You know, sight, smell, hear, all those things. And then one of the things I didn't want to do was sometimes things that should be nostalgic aren't nostalgic because they're still around, right? So like I love playing baseball. So like watching my favorite team play isn't really nostalgic, right? Because although I watched it as a kid, it stayed around for so long. Certain songs, if you listen to certain radio stations, although I want them to be nostalgic, they're not. And you know, because some of them are attached to certain things. And so I tried to pick something that when I hear it as little or as often as I see it or whatever, it immediately brings me something, right? And so my number 4 is kind of a play off of that. My Rosie, and it's really hearing an old song. Now, almost any old song, but hearing an old song that I haven't heard in like say 10 years, 15 years, like one that you kind of forget about. And I actually used one for an example in our Instagram post. I put Eternal Flame from the Bangles. And the reason I chose that song, because I really haven't heard it in so long, but it was like it was our 8th grade. And Kevin, are you still here? Kevin might still be here. He was in my 8th grade. Yep, toy commercials just paid. It was our 8th grade graduation song. So every single time that song comes on, I immediately get transported to 8th grade and those people. So it's not necessarily the Eternal Flame. It's just almost any old song. Like if it's a song I haven't heard in say 10, 15 years, and I was thinking about some songs like with my dad, like hearing like he listened to the oldies. So I don't ever listen to oldies, but if I ever am like in a store and it comes on and I hear like, you know, Sea Cruise, which like nobody ever listens to, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I get transported sitting in my dad's truck. Music is like the king of nostalgia for me. And I couldn't do it justice by picking just one song. I wanted to pick like what is the trigger, and the trigger is hearing that song that is say 10 or 15 years out of my catalog. That's something I'm listening to, and I hear it, and it immediately I like warp pipe right to that moment. So that's going to be, and this is the only music thing I'm going to say today, because I know a lot of music is like nostalgic, but I couldn't pick just one, and I tried to like be honest and say, and the best way is just like, yeah, no, you know, hearing some of these songs, they're just not nostalgic anymore. Like I'm wearing the Breaking Benjamin shirt. When I listen to them, if I haven't heard them, and like it didn't bring me anywhere, right? So that's kind of where I'm going. I'm going to go with just old songs out of my catalog.
I love that. Yeah, music makes me lose control. So
music makes me lose control. There you go. I just got brought into the skating rink just now.
There you go.
I do have one song.
And to that point,
Backwards skating.
To that point, and maybe again, I don't want to foreshadow to anything here. We've had this conversation plenty of times. It doesn't even have to be the song itself. you can say, music makes me lose control, and you immediately go to a song. You know what I mean? Like there's that thing. It's like,
Correct.
hey, let me
Correct.
train you on this new protocol because here at whatever, this is how we do it. And you're like, this is how we do it.
This is how we do it.
I only have one song that I attached to my father and my dad is Dueling Banjos.
Dueling.
Really? Really for your dad?
Yeah, because he loves that song. He would like play it, and I love that song because he played it so much, and it's a good song. It's a cool
It's a
song.
good song.
It's a cool song. Yeah, it's a cool song. It's a guitar and a banjo just doing it together. It's pretty cool. It was the song that introduced me to banjos as a whole. Like, it sounds pretty cool.
I wish we had a picture of his dad.
Yeah, saying
Like
Breaking
how much that doesn't
Benjamin
make sense.
is great. We call our honorable mentions Benjamins, and I went to a Breaking Benjamin concert with my wife, which was super nostalgic. But I'm not going to do that all the time. Like that one moment.
Dream
you know what I'm saying?
Warriors Dawkins.
Yeah. Dream Warriors.
That's
Dawkins.
good.
Dawkins. Yeah.
That's a good one. I love
Music.
it. Oz, you like music? Does music bring you some nostalgia?
I do, and actually, I've been like building up my '90s playlist, and I don't remember what song. There was a Bush song that came on, and it just like transported me straight back to high school, and just all kinds of memories came flooding back.
Yeah.
But it's been great, like just seeing what comes through on their daily list and whatnot that it makes for you, and like, oh, I remember that song. Let me play. It's like, yeah, oh, and it's like, oh, this is cool. Add that to the list, and then you go to the next one, and then add that one to the list, add that one to the list, and I think it's up to like 16 hours now.
Come on. Yeah, that's the problem that I run into also is that rabbit holes happen when it comes to music. But yeah, I love that pick. I love that pick. Kirk loves the pick so much that it was a walk-off. He's gone. He left us. I'm sure he's dealing with something. But hey, there he is. He's back from outer space.
From outer space.
There you go. There it is again. Point in case. Nice pick. Good pick there. All right. So I guess it's my turn. So
It is.
my criteria, again, not too far off of what you guys are saying. What I wanted to do that helped me limit my list a little bit was they have to be things that I'm encountering now, right? So like I love the Toys R Us pick, but they're really not there. Like, so it's not like I just stumble across the Toys R Us. I mean, unless, it's in the store, but you get my point. But it has to be things that I encounter now that then bring me back to something, right? So things that I'm able
That's
to.
that's a good one.
You know what I mean? I could scroll across TikTok for hours. And my daughter, my oldest, is actually, we've been doing this the last couple of nights. She's like, Dad, can we watch these reels about things only 90s and 2000s kids will understand or whatever? I'm like, absolutely, we can do that. And like, I'm crying, right? Because of everything. But like that stuff, like we talk about discontinued foods, like, well, they're discontinued. So just talking about them, of course, is going to bring about nostalgia. But what am I actually experiencing now that has some nostalgia attached to it, if that makes sense? So hopefully that makes sense. But my Rosie, and again, all deeply personal in the sense of like, this is not making many other people's lists, but they make it for a specific reason. My Rosie is a smell, but, and it's interesting because smells scientifically are very closely related to memory because of where and I'm not a scientist, I'm a user, okay, but where the olfactory gland is in relation to something else in your brain, some other kind of whatever area, they're very close in proximity to like a long-term memory one. So that's why when you smell things, it's like that's one of the most memory triggering, nostalgia triggering things for many people. Baked cookies, whatever it could be. Mine is not necessarily edible unless you don't want to live. So my Rosie is the smell of Pine Sol / just cleaning supplies, but Pine Sol in general. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's deeply personal. I don't expect anybody really to 100% attach to it the way that I do. But when I grew up, every time I smell Pine Sol still, my memory goes back to my daycare that I was at growing up. Carol's Cottage on the west bank of New Orleans. and I grew up there. They were constantly mopping because we were just kids. It was a daycare, right? Obviously, it's clean. But I attach it every time to that memory. And what's cool about that memory is that it's not just, oh, it smells like Carol's Cottage and I remember it. But I started dating my wife in high school. And I remember this, and this is another nostalgia thing, but I remember we were talking on the phone one night and we had to wait till after 8 p.m. or whatever it was because the minutes were free. So any Genesis, if you're still here, you probably don't understand what I'm talking about. But you had to wait till the minutes were free. So we were talking one night, and, you know, you start dating somebody, you're just like, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. And you're just trying to find stuff to talk about. Yeah, we've all done that, right? So somehow it came up that I went to Carol's Cottage. And I remember when I said that, there was silence on the other end of the phone. And I was like, was that the deal breaker? Was that it? Is it she can't date anybody from Carol's Cottage? Does she have a traumatic experience? Whatever. And she picked up the phone and she said, I just dropped my phone. Did you just say Carol's Cottage? I'm like, yes, I said Carol's Cottage. We're on the West Bank, right? She said, I went to Carol's Cottage. Well, to make this story even crazier, her family moved from the West Bank where we were to Dallas area. Her dad was a manager of Sharper Image. There's another nostalgia trigger of Sharper Image. Then they moved back to the North Shore of New Orleans, which is where I then moved. And we re-met in senior year of high school. And now I'm married to her. And we went to prom, we started dating, all that kind of stuff. But not only does this smell bring me back to Carol's Cottage, but it makes me think of all those memories. We've gone back through like photo albums. There's a picture that I have of me and her in Carol's Cottage together as 90s kids, like 1993, whatever it was. And just anyway, so that one smell of Pine Sol brings me to that that daycare, which also then brings about all these other things. So it's just a really cool memory. But literally every time I smell Pine Sol, I think somebody's mopping at Carol's Cottage. It's a weird thing, but it's absolutely a nostalgia trigger for me.
Did you still have that picture?
I do. It's on my phone, but I'll have to find it. I can throw it up there in just a minute. Also, by the way,
you showed it to me before, and you're like, "This is Courtney," and I was like, "That's cool," and you're like, "But this is me," and we didn't know each other. That's such a like quantum leap moment type. Like,
it's really awesome. You know, it's one of those just crazy things that happened, and it's pretty cool to see how all the details.
And Pine Sol smells great, and Sean thinks so as well. That's a 7 layers of Kevin bacon.
I would go for a 7-layer bacon dip, though.
That would be nice. I literally heard the song "Freshman" the first period of my freshman year in high school on a radio in the coach's office.
Hey,
that's a sad song.
It may take a little while, but I'm going to look for that picture, guys. Just so
Freshman is a sad song. Did you find the video?
Yeah, of Toys R Us?
Yeah,
I've got it pulled up.
Let's show it.
I don't know audio-wise how this is going to work because I'm through my phone, so if there's any kind of feedback, I'm sorry. So if you have, in headphones in, I can't promise that this is going to work perfectly.
Hackers soundtrack was amazing. That is a good one. So this is a throwback. This is nostalgia. This is a throwback to the first year of the Rushmore Show. Go ahead. Let's play. We got to do this. You got it.
Hold on, it's not working. Give me a second. Give me a second, guys. It's not.
We'll come back.
We'll come back to it.
All right. So Pammy, you're up. This is what we call TJ Jazzy Jeff. Maybe Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's out there for you. This is a good one if that's the case. But yeah, what's your number 3 on the map?
Okay. So this one is like oddly specific. It's Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, but specifically Padme Amidala.
Okay.
Because I had her doll and I was obsessed, and I had stickers and the doll. And the reason why I like this one for me brings like a very specific memory is because I was like, it's funny because like later in life I was not into Star Wars as much. I went into like different sci-fis, but it was like my first introduction to sci-fi. And there was this like very, if anyone on here's from Florida, or South Florida, they probably know it. On Las Olas, there was a very expensive movie theater, and my parents were treating me to see Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, and I was like, I don't want to hear you don't like Phantom Menace. I don't want no haters. So like they were treating me. I was like 7, calm down. And we walk in, and I'm like having my moment. I'm like, yes, bring it. And then my dad falls asleep the minute the lights go out. And I think it was like I keep on trying to wake my dad up. And my mom's like, like, babe, let him sleep. Like, he works a lot. I think, like, even though it's, like, it's a happy memory because, like, Padme is awesome, in my opinion. And then, but it's also kind of, like, a sad memory because, like, it made me really realize, like, how hard my dad was working to provide for us. Like, it wasn't just, it was my introduction to, like, how hard the world is to the point where, like, he can't even stay up for a movie in the theater. Like, this is a man who's been, they planned this for a month. They were taking me to the fancy theater, and it was, like, that reality of like, oh, life might be really hard. Like, like he's not just working a little bit. Like, he can't even stay up to watch the most epic movie of the year. And like, I think it even had moving seats. Like, I think that's like how intense the seater was. And my dad's like, just gone. So I love Padme. I still love Padme, but it was. There were some like I said, like there were some core memories there made of like, oh, this is no joke. Life might be hard. Maybe I'll just stay inside.
Did you your dad was planning that this whole time? Like, man, I can get an hour and a
nap. My thing about my dad is he can sleep anywhere. Like, he's 63 now, and like he calls himself a shark because he stops moving, gone. I've seen my dad's about 6'3", and I've seen him sleep on like beds as small, like little futon. He's gone. That's the second person.
Shout out to the Nintendo kiosk that is behind you guys.
Thank you guys. Yeah, it's like baby.
And Amwaz says 7. I feel old.
I might have been 9. One or the other. I think I was 7.
I will say Pammy passed on her love for Star Wars to her little brother too, which is what 10 years.
Yeah,
apart from her.
Here's some drama for everybody. Phantom Menace was the only good one. The other 2 prequels were soap opera. I don't know. Number 3.
Hot take.
That's a hot take.
It's a hot take. We can agree.
It's funny when they first came out, everybody.
Look at that.
That's the little Taco Bell topper. How cool is that?
Oh my god.
There was no way the movies could have lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch them now, you're like, okay, they're not that bad, especially at 2 speed.
I'm just gonna throw this out there, and for all the hate from anybody, there is not one Star Wars movie that I wouldn't watch right now. Like, just
same, 100%.
If it's on, I'm watching it. I'm not like, oh, turn this off. It's terrible. This is, and I've said this before. We're gonna have Dad Vader and General Kenobi on. We're gonna talk top 4 Sith. He's been on before. We talked top 4 Jedi, and we've done top 4 Star Wars characters. We're Star Wars fans. I'm gonna say this: the new Star Wars is not my Star Wars, right? But it's my kids' Star Wars.
Yeah,
and I honor that so well because my kids love it. And being a girl dad like Andy, it's really awesome to see Rey being in charge, no matter what you think about the director or the direction it went. That's how I feel. And so I love watching it because of nostalgia, sitting in the theater with the next generation of people enjoying it, and me going, oh, I wouldn't have went that way. But man, you love that. Awesome. I love it too now because it's just how it is.
Yeah.
But we've said it before, Star Wars fans, we're going to do a Rushmore of worst fandoms out there, and I'm one of them. Star Wars is on the list because Star Wars people
I'm honestly
just sometimes crippling with their take.
I gotta take a step back because I'm not huge Star Wars fandom. It was just my introduction to sci-fi, which then led me to Battlestar Galactica, which then led me to Star Trek.
I appreciate that. I love this movie. So it is. I love this movie.
Yeah.
I was
Don't
to
quiz
tell
me.
you how old you are and how old I am, and was don't feel bad. I'm here with you. I was my first year, first station in the military in New Mexico, and all of the guys in the barracks went to the local theater to see this. And I enjoyed the heck out of it. I remember coming back and going, I remember walking the dorms going, dude, that was so awesome. What about those pods? And just, dude, I remember like settling in and being like, dude, I cannot wait for the next one. But it's not everybody's thing. It's not everybody's take. It's hard to get through the Anakin and Padme love affair in episode 2. Very cringe. I mean, as a like 10-year-old, yeah, but as an adult, I'm like, okay, whatever.
So
An adult, you can look at it and be like, okay, this guy does not know how to talk to girls. He is totally not sure of himself.
Anakin was
And
definitely
he's
homeschooled.
Talking about
we had some Anakins at church camp this week.
Oh, there's a whole lot of Anakins at kids camp for sure. That's hey, real quick, I do have a couple things to show off real quick. Let me share the screen. First of all, let's look at this one. This is me and my wife in daycare together. So this is my wife with the bowl cut. And then this is me. This is nice. Welcome to open house, like 1993. And of course, we had the little cityscape. You guys see that little cityscape?
Little did they know, 20 years later,
yeah.
they'd have 3 kids, and well, not 20, probably 25 years later, 3 kids.
But 5 seconds after the photo was taken, he was shoving her shoe out of the way, like, you're blocking the road. Move.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Now I got to get to the hospital. What are we doing here? Come on, people. And then let's see. I'm going to try to play this video for you guys real quick, and we'll just see. Hey, just so you know, we're at an hour. We're going to go a little longer today. It is what it is, guys. So let's see if this works. Let me know if you can hear this, okay?
Andrew, my boy, I think it's time for you to grow up.
Grow up? I don't want to grow up. You know why? Because I am a Toys R Us kid. Guess what? They got 1 million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. I don't want to grow up. I am a Toys R Us kid. They got the best for so much less. Guess what? It'll really flip your lid. From bikes to trains to video games. It's the biggest toy store there is. Gee whiz. I don't want to grow up because, baby, if I did, then I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid. More games, more toys. Oh, boy. I want to be a Toys R Us kid.
Oh my god.
I want to
There
grow up.
we
I want
go.
to grow up.
That was how we used to start the show.
I hope we
used to
don't
do an
get
intro
dinged for
like
that little
all the
half a
time.
second.
If you want to
but
see some amazing acting, go back and watch the first year of the Rushmore Show.
Also, look at that beard back in the day. I had a beard. How about
Man,
that?
I remember the Toys R Us with the babies R Us next to them.
Yeah, babies
Yeah,
are.
where you bought your stroller.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know whose pick were we on. Who did we just did? We just did Padme Amidala.
Bobby,
Okay,
you're
cool.
up.
So
Alrighty. So my like I said, mine are gonna start getting more specific, and this one, it's a specific one because of it triggers just a whole set of memories again, and it's who remembers the credits for the company that made Rugrats is called Klasky Swopel. Credits. And I got a link that I can send you guys if you guys want to play it. So just so we can trigger a whole bunch of 90s kids. 90s kids right now here. I'll share the chat over here. But yeah, it's just that sound to me. It just triggers so many memories. Like the funny thing is I didn't Rugrats is not one of my favorite shows, but somehow that sound is so attached to Nickelodeon that it reminds me of, it's around 33 seconds. If you want.
Here we go. I'm ready to play it if you guys are good. Here we go.
Yeah, around 33 seconds. We should play.
Yes.
You can skip to like about 33 seconds, and it's the specific one I'm talking about. That one. That sound.
Oh my
Specifically that sound.
goodness.
It's somehow it's so ingrained to me when it comes to Nickelodeon that it reminds me of Our Real Monsters, Rocko's Modern Life. It reminds me of
They
everything
produced a lot.
about a Nickelodeon, and it reminds me of like specifically a memory is like we always used to purge after watching Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Didn't we all?
And so we always used to like put just Nicktoons or whatever, so we can like purge after it because we were really scared at night with my brother. And me and my brother slept in the same room. We had separate beds and slept in the same room. So we always used to like play sleep and then wake up and then kind of like put the TV kind of low so we can just keep watching Nickelodeon. So that sound, every time I hear it, it's just like Nickelodeon memories filled in my brain, and I love that sound. I love that sound.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I would have done a different criteria and it was like stuff that I'm not like experiencing now, Nickelodeon would be my number 4, my number 3, my number 2, my number 1. I would make my whole list Nickelodeon. It was my life growing up. Have you watched the Orange Years documentary?
No, I
Oh
can't.
my
Is that the
goodness.
one where like all the scandal happened?
No. That's like
Oh.
beyond the couch. This is just like a
Okay.
documentary of the life of Nickelodeon. Obviously, there's we've now known since some things have come out, some different things. To me, that doesn't ruin the whole. That wasn't everybody at Nickelodeon, so
Right.
Yeah.
there's a different thing. But I would highly suggest go check out. I forget what it was on.
I think it's on Netflix. The Orange
Maybe
Years.
Netflix.
Yeah.
It's just called The Orange Years. I literally tear up when I watch this show. It's so good. Everything about Nickelodeon. I loved Cartoon Network as a kid. Disney Channel was okay, but nothing was as 90s and nostalgic for me as Nickelodeon and everything.
Well, I lived by Universal Orlando Studios,
Yeah.
and that was like when I tell you how many times I tried to get myself slimed, it was insane. Like I would beg my parents to be like, let's go do one of those shows so I can get slimed. And mind you, I have
So,
sensory issues. so I
Sean
probably
is
would've
in
died.
the chat. Sean's in the chat, real life perspective. Andy and I were on his show to do our top 5 Nickelodeon things. Andy and I love Nickelodeon. My Nickelodeon's from the 80s, 90s. You guys are all 90s, 8, whatever. Well, Waz, you're with me probably a little bit. But I love Nickelodeon for different reasons. So like Rugrats is awesome, but that wasn't what I was watching, you know? And so when I hear the sounds, it's still nostalgic to me because it played it, like we still went back to it. We still went back to Nickelodeon, even though that wasn't like really our jam or whatever. But it's Nickelodeon is our childhoods. Seriously, if you were an 80s, 90s, early 2000s person, Nickelodeon is huge.
And actually, that show, Kirk, was actually one of the. I remember it's one of the first ones that me and Pammy watched. I remember me and Pammy were doing laundry in our bedroom, and we were watching you guys talking about Nickelodeon.
Oh
Nickelodeon
yes,
shows.
we were doing laundry. We were.
Speaking of Nickelodeon,
Oh my goodness, yeah, I love Ari and Monster. Every year I have my Nickelodeon binge where I watch a bunch of Nickelodeon shows. One of my favorite shows is Rocko's Modern Life. It's actually my ringtone. I just didn't pick that one because I hear it a lot, and this is just that one sound that just triggers a string of memories, so it's a lot stronger. I don't know why.
The amount of
It's such
TV
an iconic sound.
I had to have watched in the 90s would probably be criminal. Like I definitely had way too much screen time. I'm okay with it. like modern mom to be like, she's watching too much TV. It's gonna rot her brain. And my mom was just like, she's an only child, bet. Like
Entertain yourself.
I love that pick. I love that so much. Oh wow, dude, Nickelodeon. What do we think?
I've got no nostalgia for Nickelodeon. Zero. We did not have cable growing up.
Oh, okay.
that'll do
I
it.
didn't watch any of it, and so like that sound. That was the first time I'd heard that sound. I'm like, wow, okay. But
you
we
were
lived
PBS
out in the country, so we couldn't even get cable. And it's the old story. We had 3 channels, and on a good day we might get a 4th, and that was it. It was whatever we could pick up over the
The wavy one. You got the wavy one.
Yeah, on a sunny day it would come in and it'd be a little bit grainy, but you could still watch it. But
that sound is engraved into 4- and 6-year-old me. Great pick.
Yep. Or when you first turn it on, that
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sound. That sound like the ring. That white noise. Oh.
Yep.
All right, Waz, you're up.
All right. One thing for my next thing is, and Sane kind of touched on it a little bit, but it's little action figures, and it started with these guys right
Muscle.
here, Muscle Men, and I did it. The little toys, and then Muscle Men specifically, they take me back to that Christmas because I remember getting, they came in a 28 pack, and at the time it was it was mixed with colored and the flesh figures. And on the back of that 28 pack, though, it had like this display of a wrestling ring and all these characters around it. And I don't know how many hours I spent just looking at the different characters and looking at how unique and different and how cool they all were. And I spent hours and hours and hours just looking at that, playing with the muscle figures. One thing that I'd do with mine is I'd set them up like dominoes. And so I'd set them up like dominoes. I'd have gaps in them. I'd stick them on each other's shoulders so I could bridge gaps, knock them over. And then there was the usual stuff with, throwing them around and whatnot with wrestling figures. But there wasn't a there wasn't a storyline here in the United States for them. So everything that was on the back of the cards and stuff from the toys, that was all you had. And it really takes me back. I mean, I still look for these things everywhere I go, anywhere there's toys, toy convention, even at gaming conventions, I'll keep an eye out for them. I saw some of their Japanese counterparts at Sigi, but they were too expensive for me. I like to get them really cheap. But it hits me in the feels because it takes me back to that Christmas because we didn't have a bunch, and that was just a lot I could do with just those little figures, and they kept me occupied for hours and hours. And I guess you could say they still do.
I love this pick tremendously. When we did toys, this was an honorable mention, but one of my favorite toys, and I just brought it up a couple weeks ago. It's not my favorite, but one of my favorites was Battle Beasts, right? And Battle Beasts were very similar in size, but they had movable arms at least, and you rubbed them and whatever.
Yep.
But what kills me is I had so many muscle. You mentioned the 24 pack or whatever. I got several. What? Oh, I got several of those boxes, right? And then they had the smaller one, which was like the blister pack. But then they had the barrel. You remember the barrel? Owazrim? You remember? Do you have a barrel? Yes. That
This is one of the newer ones.
So much nostalgia. You buy like the barrel of guys. Now I remember I kind of stopped. I kind of didn't like them when they got colored. I really wanted the flesh color. Yeah. Okay. Really awesome. Those are cool. Didn't they make Mega Man and He-Man muscle toys recently?
They did. The one I actually grabbed was Robotech. And if I can grab this one, here's the Motussle, Masters of the Universe muscle.
Oh wow.
So there's a bunch of different ones they made probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Now, the main character there, the main wrestler that was in that from Japanese lore. Next week, well, on Thursday, we're talking about Henshin Heroes. And he's one of the ones that kind of comes up when you talk about Henshin stuff.
Yeah, I'm not. I've seen these for sure. I don't have a nostalgia necessarily for these. Definitely action figures and different things, but not these ones specifically. But I do like these. You see them at a lot of the conventions that we go to. There's definitely people who have tons of these things for sale. So
yeah, and they are expensive. And it's almost like I don't want to spend that much for that little guy. Micro Machines, so expensive.
Yes.
It's like, man, it's only like this big. Anyway, that's a good pull. That's a good pull. Look at all.
Wow, my goodness, so many.
Gold mine right there.
My goodness.
Yeah. Well, I when I'm going to conventions, I'll be like, I'm not trying to lowball you. I'm like, this is what I do. I look for $1 a piece. I'll buy all of them that you have at $1 a piece. And most people will be like, oh, I can't do it. I paid this much for them. It's like, oh, I don't want to waste your time. I think that, thanks for your time for listening. But I've got, I'm just trying to grow. I just like getting them, but I'm not going to break the bank to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, we like toys, but we don't go too hard for toys.
Yeah.
We do have some of them.
All right, so
Kirk, we're back to you.
So
Your next nostalgia trigger.
Gosh, Javi, you mentioned winter. And when you mentioned that, Mysticles, way back when, said he's an amateur astronomer. Winter is the best for stargazing. Well, my next nostalgia moment is probably the only one that I can do and see all the time. And it never fails. It immediately brings me back. When I was a young boy, when I was a young warthog, there you go.
I do the same thing.
When I was a young boy, my dad would bring me out into the front yard, and we would lay down in the driveway, and we would look up and stargaze. And one of the things that he would always say is, "That's Orion's belt," and then he would teach me all the stars around Orion. So for me, my number 3 is Orion, and right here is Orion tattooed on my side because it is a remembrance for my father. And if you know me and you've been around the show long enough, you know that next to, my immediate family here, Jesus and a few other people around there, I'm going to talk about my dad more importantly than anybody. He was my best friend. He was one of the greatest people that I've ever met. I model my life and my father, like how I parent and just doing all things. And so every time I walk out and I see it, it's kind of one of those moments where I'm like, yep, Dad, I see that you're hanging out, like you've done so much in my life. And then I get transported to laying down in the driveway, or throwing a baseball with him, or putting up Christmas lights in the middle of the night. Because my wife laughs because she's like, "Why do you put lights out at night? Like it's dark. You gotta walk around." And I'm like, "Because that's how my dad did it. And leave me alone. Go inside." And then it's really a nostalgia for my father, but I'm talking about every single time I see Orion in the sky.
Yeah. I also like this song by Metallica, Orion. So that's a good instrumental song. I was substituting this school year, and there was a kid named Orion in the class, and I was like, "That's an interesting name. I wonder if he's named after the Metallica song." And he came and told me, he said, "My dad named me after a Metallica song." I was like, "Oh my God,
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I want to meet your dad." But yeah, this is a cool pick. Yeah, I know you talk about your dad a lot, obviously, and nostalgia that's tied to that and everything. So this is on brand for you for sure. This is good. I like it.
Definitely on brand.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I always also have to look out for Orion every time I look at the sky, but not for as beautiful of a reason as you have. Mine is more scientific, curiosity-wise.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
I love the stars, man. I love everything about it. I love the constellations. I love just kind of learning about that. Long live the Empire.
Long live the Empire.
Manny's Arcade has made a show.
Manny's Arcade.
Manny
Shout out to Manny.
has recommitted to joining us first week of February.
Nice.
First week of February, he'll be back on the show. The last time he was on, he was with Saturn Steve, which I'm bummed. I miss Saturn Steve
Saturn Steve's close to us.
Yeah, and we're going to go.
Yeah.
Hey, so when I go and have lunch or whatever with Steve, you guys should come with us too.
We're literally like 3 exits up from Steve. I talk to his wife a lot at CG.
Nice. I mean,
Cool.
my daughter plays softball and practices right over there by you guys all the time. Chris in the house. Welcome in, Chris. We'll see Chris in 2 weeks over at another convention. So at Louisiana Retro Con. All right. Yeah. Andrew.
Yep. Next on my list, before we get to 2 hours on the first half of this episode, I think it's a perfect segue. I think we're doing a perfect episode today for this to be a pick. This is possibly cheating because it's so much nostalgia in one setting. My next nostalgia trigger, and again, it's something that I experience enough to that it does trigger it, are conventions. I think just conventions in general, whether it's RetroCon, whether it's STCC, whether it's Pelicon, or some of these other ones that we're going to be involved with and going to. I love going to it for every reason that we said, right? The community, the network, not networking in that sense, but just being able to hang out with friends and connecting in that kind of way, and then all the fun that we get to do. We get the privilege of being able to preach at them, but also just have a table and film stuff and have fun and all that kind of stuff. But really, it's the nostalgia that's tied to it. Walking those aisles, and not even buying stuff, but just being able to look and hold physical media or toys or whatever, and like, man, I remember this one specific for this reason. I had this toy and I remember this. Like, I literally was walking through one a couple back, and I remember it was there was a set. It was Bebop and Rocksteady, and I remember, I forget which one it was, but they had some, maybe it was both of them. They had little like temporary tattoos that you were supposed to put on them. And I remember I saw it, and I went back to an argument that I had with my parents as a kid because I didn't want to put the tattoos on him. And they were like, that's what we bought it. Like, it's part of the toy. And it's just little funny things like that these conventions bring up. Cards. I had binders full of like X-Men trading cards and stuff as a kid, or Pokemon cards, or you go and then you like, I purchased the N64 stuff or the Super Nintendo stuff, and then being able to play that again. But everything about that is nostalgia. Everything about that, the guests that are there, if it's something that ties into my nostalgia, I just love it so much. And what's cool about it too is that, I'm gonna lump us all together as us old folks. I get to bring my kids to that too, and they get to see that. Like I mentioned before, like my daughter wanted to watch these reels of 90s and 2000s memories and stuff, and it's just cool to like to show them that kind of stuff. And most of the stuff she doesn't care about. She really just doesn't. But it is cool to all of the nostalgia that gets brought up going to these conventions. It's a trigger, man. It's 100% triggered every time I go.
Yeah, it is definitely a trigger for sure. It's a great poll. And I'll talk more about conventions here in about 3 minutes because we're at halftime. So before we do that, you guys tell us about conventions. Y'all are both convention guys, and that's where we met at Siege and all that. And so tell us about conventions. And Chris is in the chat. He's a convention guy. Well said. Top reason why we do conventions. Yeah.
The meeting of the people is really cool because, like, one of the big things, like, I'm big Sega. I didn't have a Master System as a kid, so getting to hear people's stories who did have it as a kid and the nostalgia they have for it, like, fuels my love for the system because I got one, probably 9 years ago. And seeing those things that like you used to see in Toys R Us hanging up, and sometimes you actually see some of the things that were in Toys R Us at the conventions being sold for generally absurd prices. But it's cool to see those things, and then somebody else comes along and you're looking at it and they start looking at the same thing and you start sharing those memories, and like it's just the nostalgia is it hits really hard there, but it's also just like it's a place where you can just relax and talk about it and enjoy it, and like it's a cool form of retro fellowship, if you will, because it's something that can bring us together. Like no one's worried about all the other stuff going on outside. It's like it's really nice.
I'm a sucker for the displays at the cons. I wish I could just buy them all.
We need a bigger house, and we have like, I need it off my kitchen table, honestly, guys.
Yeah, I'm always picking stuff up, and now that I'm like, now that we're getting into it, like that's one of the things that I kind of like go for, because it just preserving that part of history that usually gets thrown away. It's like really cool. Like those going to conventions, that's kind of like the thing that I'm always looking for, to see what people are bringing, because a lot of people bring it just to kind of like make the booth look cooler, and some people are trying to sell it. But like for instance at Siege, there's this one booth that has so many like Metroid, and some of them were a little discolored, but even then it's just like it's like going back in time.
There was one booth and I don't remember where it was at. And I was just walking by, and my son was like walking towards. I was like, nope. But it said, "Do not touch. This is worth $6,000."
Oh, is that the Virtual Boy? They had like a
That was
Virtual Boy
the Virtual Boy.
Was it the
The
Virtual
virtual-
Boy?
like, why? Okay, but why even put that out? Because
Yeah.
like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't read. I got so excited. I'm like, oh, I've never seen one of these set up in real life. And I walked to it, and thank God, like my eyes went to the sign, and I stopped myself. But had I been like a minute younger, or like my frontal lobe not developed,
If I have one complaint about conventions, there's only one. I am at a weird age with my family, right? So like, I enjoy going to conventions with my son the most. I wish I would have had more time on Sunday. But like when I go by myself, I'm more window shopping, right? Because like that's just where I'm at in my life, in like my family. I've got kids that I'm like, it's always really hard for me to justify spending the amount of money that they want for those things for the piece that I want. So for me, it's like every year I get to go back and, oh, there it is. I see it. But
I didn't pick up much this year.
like if I was younger with no kids,
Oh, there it is. Look,
there it is.
Look at that.
yeah.
Yep,
Do
that one.
not touch $6,000. There it was.
That's a flex, though. I think he knew what he was doing. He's like,
Oh, yeah, he knew.
Yeah.
No, but
But
I
he
think
had it
was
set on the
right
corner
because
of the table.
I
No.
think he was
The
Yeah.
most precarious place where it could have
No.
been.
Yeah.
And so here's the
you know what you're doing.
if I was younger, like 20 something, no kids, I'd probably be buying the place out. But I can't wait until my kids are gone in like maybe 10 years when I don't have anything else to spend it on.
I think when you have grandkids, man, like
Yeah.
you can go spoil them kids with
Oh yeah, I'm buying this because little Cannon Jr. needs this.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. He does.
my dad bought his grandson.
It's gonna annoy their parents. Yeah, they do need it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he needs this.
Yeah.
I'm just in a spot where like it's really like it's funny. I see these videos and you're like, my budget today is $800. I'm like, what? My budget today was $8. Like, what can I get for $8?
That's me.
Cannon said, Dad, every booth we stop by, can I get this? I said, all right, here's your limit. And I think I said 40. He was done with 40 like that.
Yeah.
I
On
was
one
like,
booth. Yeah.
chill.
There's
And I
so
was like,
much
good
stuff,
news,
man.
good news is we got to leave anyway.
One game is
There's
40
so
bucks.
much stuff. There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff.
So
Hardware,
anyways,
man.
let's
I
jump
wanted to-
in. Great pick, Andy. I love this pick. I love where you're going with that. Let's jump into our commercials. We're an hour. We're better than I thought we were going to be, Andy. Because I was like, gosh, we're like 30 behind. Okay, so
It's okay.
and I think we can make up the time. Here's the deal. Let's talk about a few things. We're talking about conventions, and I don't have the flyer here in front of me, but I do have an old one from fall 2023, right? Fall 2023. But the new one, Louisiana RetroCon, it is 2 weeks away. It is Mario themed. It is going to be in Gonzales, Louisiana, and Andy and I will be there at least Saturday. I believe you're going to be there, Andy, and then I'll be there hopefully Sunday. We'll figure it all out, the logistics. But I am probably going to be preaching on Sunday, 11 o'clock. I'll be live if you want to see it, and I'll be preaching on Mario, probably how Jesus can power up your life or something like that.
Here.
Stay tuned and see. I'll be live 11 Central, 11:30 Central, and we will be doing. Little Timmy is in the house. Your favorite moderator's here. We miss you, bud. And yeah, PnX, congratulations on being the #1 member. Oh yeah, PnX, you got #1 in the chat.
I don't know what that means.
So over in the live chat on the YouTube side, everybody gets rankings now. So you're #1.
I mean,
So and you get that by first comments and all that stuff. So anyways, Lil Timmy is one of my old students, and he's now moved on to middle school. And we're glad you're here, man. Come hang out more often. So come and see us at the convention. Down over there by Owazrim, the comments are covering up, but we're ministry called Reboot. and it's a restart. And we believe as Christians you have to restart. And so it's our fun way of kind of hanging out. I am presently writing a few books, along with Andy is writing a few books, and hopefully in one of these conventions sooner than later, we will be able to have some devos, some geeky devos to either sell or hand out to you guys soon. We've actually been invited to a couple conventions recently. I think we might be at Pelicon, St. Tammany Collectors Con, and Louisiana RetroCon. We've also been invited to GeekCon in Shreveport, and we've been invited to potentially Cajun Con, which is going to be one of the biggest conventions in. It's going to be like Siege with a twist, which makes me think of that commercial on the rocks with a twist. Andy,
Isn't this guy's a trigger?
Yep, there's a trigger. But that's a Southern Louisiana thing because it's from the casinos. It's Cajun Con. There's going to be a ton of actors and stuff there. I think we might potentially be in that in December. So a lot of conventions coming up. If you have a convention that you would like us to be a part of, Augusta Video Game, we would love to be there. We would love to be a part if we can find the time around our kids and our ministries and our busy schedules. Please let us know if you know a convention. If you guys are going to a convention, we'd love to meet you there and share some of the conventions that you're going to in our comments. Andy, let's talk about our coffee. Let's talk about our Culture Box friend over there. Drew and Francisco were here, so that's potential. Next week, speaking of that, Andy, we need a new video. We need a new video. But on Thursday we have a new member of Culture Box joining us. So, and he's going to be on the show. So, who are we going to share with Culture Box? And let's do coffee.
Yeah, let's. You just said it. Let's talk about Retro Rewind Pod.
Every other week, join the Retro Rewind Pod as they travel back 15 or more years along the entertainment space-time continuum in their mission to review movies and games, establishing what is still worth your time today. Expect fun banter and trivial insights from Francisco, Paul, and rotating guest hosts who are all out of time.
As we got to do Classic Game Fest. Connect us with the owner, director, proprietor, whoever. We'd love to connect with Austin and maybe do Siege one year too. That'd be cool. But as a matter of fact, I'm sending him a message right now. It's in my thing. I haven't sent it to him. But let's do coffee, Andy. I just finished my cup, my Ireland cup of coffee.
It is. Hey, if you guys like coffee, check out the official coffee of the Rushmore Show.
Yeah.
Let's face it, at-home coffee can be pretty stale. Coffee at home doesn't have to be boring. The Village Coffee is here to deliver the flavor. The Village Coffee roasts coffee every week and sells online. Go to villagebeans.com to order your coffee today and use discount code RUSHMORE for free shipping.
Right. Free shipping. Hey, look, let me show you what's coming up. This show always pings us with a copyright, so I always have to take the music out of it afterwards. But for whatever reason, it's not free. But here is a commercial for what's coming up. one last thing. Let's do our member spotlight of the week. Just hug this guy's neck. We've got a couple members that we have videos for. We'll shine a light on a new one every week. But one of our favorite members, I got to finally meet this guy in person. You'll see a few people you know in this video. But here he is. Check out Bryce.
Bryce JW is a full-time content creator, collector, and streamer, spreading kindness one video at a time. From epic geometry dash runs and Nintendo streams to game hunting vlogs and podcasts, Bryce leads the Anime Armada, a welcoming, positive community for gamers and geeks of all kinds. No hate, just heart. Join the crew at youtube.com/@BryceJW.
Hey, by the way, real quick, Retro Cannon just showed up from football practice, and we had a blast at Siege. Saw a bunch of you guys. Owazrim hooked him up with a box of cards, bro. We've been going through them. Some old school stuff. It was pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So, hey, let's get back to the show, and thank you, Owazrim, for that. And then, as you saw, there was a ton of people in there, and some of those guys are coming back on. Mort, Manny just committed. I'm sure Saturn Steve would jump back in. The guys below, I'm sure they'll love it, and somewhere down the road coming back on. But the place, DM me on our IG, Facebook, or whatever, on Discord, and you can get on the show too. And let's get this thing going. Pammy, you're up.
Okay. So, piggybacking off my husband here, which I don't know what he's doing. So, piggybacking off Hobby, what he said, like the Nick sounds. So, for me, a big trigger is Nick at Night, specifically.
Oh.
We're talking like Bewitched, I Dream a Genie, The Brady Bunch.
Mr. Ed.
Huh?
Mr. Ed.
I'm sorry. I know Mr. Ed, but like I didn't watch him because it was like that. What else was there? The Partridge Family. But for me, like my top three were the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch, I Dream a Genie, and Bewitched. And my mom and I would stay up really late. Like being native to Florida, you don't vacation outside of Florida. You just go to like different beaches in Florida, and that's your like vacation. Or maybe my family, which is very middle class. I don't know. So we would just go to like Fort Myers Beach, and that was it. So like I have no frame of reference. Like people be like, "Oh, you didn't travel outside the country?" No, I don't know. Like I just got a passport like 3 days ago. So like that for me, my dad would again fall asleep. So my dad would fall asleep, and it'd be my mom and I up, and we would watch Nick at Night, and we'd do like the little like nose thing. And so we're at SoCal, and it's our first day there, and it was like kind of condensed because we had to run back and get our son from my brother-in-law and his girlfriend, because it was like it's a lot. People that don't have kids, toddlers, a lot. So we're like kind of like trying to hustle, and as we're kind of heading out, this guy has Bewitched, a Bewitched doll.
Oh no!
And she's from 1996, so she's like when my mom and I would have been watching it.
It's the Nick at Night version.
Huh?
The Nick at Night version.
Yeah, so it's the Nick at Night version. It has a whole insert. Let me see. So it has like a whole insert, and I just loved this whole show, and yeah, I can't say enough about like. And my mom has a different perspective because she was watching it as like an adult. I don't know. But my perspective is I loved witches and I love spending time with my mom. And that was like peak. And I picked this up because the guy, I think he had a price for $55. And he goes, well, we really do mostly gaming. So she's been sitting for years. And I already knew what he wanted on her. And I'm like, if he'll do 20, I'll take it. And he's like, 20 and it's yours. I handed him $20 so fast, your head, but it's fun. I love her.
That is so cool.
So I jokingly said Mr. Ed, but I remember it like watching Nickelodeon, the Nick at Night version, and I spent hours watching. So when I watched, it was the late 80s. So you were watching probably more 90s, 2000s.
Yeah, 99.
But Nick at Night in the late 80s was Mr. Ed, My Three Sons,
yes.
R54, Where Are You? the Honeymooners,
The honeymoon.
and there was one more I just thought of in my head that used to come. So My Three Sons, Honeymooner.
Sanford and Sons.
No, because they were all black and white. Sanford and Son at least was a little color. Yeah, I don't remember, but all the black and white shows. I remember watching these and just like enjoying. Oh, Leave It to Beaver. Leave It to Beaver.
Leave It to Beaver. Yeah. Mrs. Cleaver.
So all
Yeah.
of those would kind of like be back to back, and sometimes like I Love Lucy was on there. But I love Nick at Night, and I remember like bringing that up to like friends, and they'd be like, "You watch that?" And I was,
Yeah, right.
So
They'd be like, "What are you, 1,000?"
My parents were older. My parents were in their 40s when they had, and so those shows were shows that were kind of cool when they were in their 20s and whatever. And so, yeah, I watched them because of them. But my friends were like, "We don't watch that." That's
No, like none of my friends can.
oh, look,
relate to
Chris
that.
says, "I Love Lucy" and Taxi. Yeah, exactly.
You guys
Taxi?
want to feel real
Right.
old? Here is, according to Wikipedia. Now I haven't seen this is the current Nick at Night broadcast. Friends, SpongeBob SquarePants, Modern Family, and The Big Bang Theory.
Wow.
So you say that.
Wow.
You
So if you
say
want to
that.
feel old,
It's really hard to think like when I was a kid. So I was thinking about this about music when I was thinking like Sea Cruise and Poison Ivy and stuff. Like my dad used to listen to oldies, but in the 80s, that was from like the 60s. That was like 20 years prior.
Yeah.
Or 20 years prior to this, it'd be like us listening to something in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's like my kids, like for me, it was such a big difference.
The
Because it
90s
was
were
black
only
and
10
white.
years ago, people.
It was
I don't know
different
what you're
kind of
talking
instruments. The 90s to now, it's different, but not nearly the
Not
difference
nearly as
the
different.
80s to the 60s.
but like, you
And
know
it's
what freaks
wild to me to think about that.
You know what freaks me out is my brother's Gen Z. So we have a 10.5-year age difference. So I'm peak millennial and he's peak Gen Z. And if I had $1 for every time this kid called me cringy, I'd die. So we were talking about like, he wanted to go see Childish Gambino. And I'm like, well, I really want to go see Korn and I only have so much money for concerts. And he's like, you can't be seriously putting Childish Gambino in the same sentence as Korn. And I'm like, I can do what I want.
Korn
And
is way better than Childish Gambino.
And
I'll
like,
stand on that.
but to
I'll
them,
be
it's
standing on that business.
oh, I stand on it. And like to them, it's dad rock. Like
I need a
System of a
Korn
Down
cage in my
is dad
life.
rock.
Dad rock.
Green Day's
Yeah.
dad rock to them. Can you imagine? I can't.
Well, you know
All
what's
right,
funny?
all right. We're
You know
going to be
what's
here
funny,
till the morning.
Sorry.
You know what's funny is that if the song from Bowling for Soup 1985 was written today in that same stretch of time, it'd be like 2004.
It'd be Phineas and Ferb.
It's wild.
104
4
days
days
of
of
summer
summer
vacation.
vacation. We spoke of the longest to end it.
There you go.
But it's
So,
not the
all
same as
right,
the horse of the
Bobby,
horse, of
what's your
course.
next one?
All right.
Sorry.
Mine. We're gonna start doing it to gaming, and I got a prop here to show it off.
Yeah, show it.
So mine is wrapping up a Nintendo 64 controller, which I go the X route.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
No, that's
Right?
heresy.
So to me, every time that I do this to a Nintendo 64 controller, it treats me back to a very specific memory of being at the beach, playing Mario Party, Super Smash Bros, Mario Kart with my cousins in this like little CRT that we had at the beach apartment. And just I remember the controllers. It was like yellow, blue, gray, and red that we had. And we're just sitting down this like little TV, and we'll just be playing, getting my butt whooped on all of those because I kind of suck at multiplayer games. But it was just such a fun time. Every time that I do that I'm like buying controllers, testing them out or something to sell them, and I wrap them, I'm immediately shot back to just like that specific memory, and it just means a lot. I
love
Nintendo 64 controller wrapping.
No.
We don't wrap the controllers anymore.
It seems like
I
he
never had
disagrees with that
64,
method.
But
What's the correct method?
this,
Yeah.
like, 1, 2,
Is it
3, 4, 5.
suspenders?
No.
Is it
Suck it
The
in.
thing is, you have to leave enough sticking out of the controller So you can do that and then wrap it however you want.
Yeah, so you don't
do
damage
not grab it and just wrap it around because it puts too much stress right here.
Yeah.
Even with all this stuff, that's the complaint.
Yeah,
If-
no, I get it. I get it.
If you're bending this part, you're doing it wrong. And then that's just my 2 cents. But I like my controllers to last as I hold up, an Xbox 360 wired controller.
There you go. The N64, absolutely. I love the N64.
Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
It's a nostalgia
That was a good
controller, too,
intro
'cause
too.
There's nothing like it. And the number of stories you hear, just people like, I didn't know how to hold it, which I always thought was weird. It depended on the game. You either held it like this or you held it like this.
There's
And
2 ways.
if you're
It's
playing
not
Mario
really
Party, you're
different.
doing this. Sitting
Yeah.
there rotating it, trying
Yeah,
to
true.
getting the
Which
little
is then
burn
you
on
get
your hand.
controllers like you'll get old controllers that thing is just loose like crazy. So
Isaac, I'm watching the video right now.
get that heresy off of our screen. We don't care about.
I remember from Mario Party we used to get like the little burn mark
Yep.
from doing
They
the
made
little
a
particle
glove
game.
for that. They made a glove that you could put on, fingerless glove that you put on, and had a little padding right there, so you could sit there. And
That's
Yeah.
that's why they got rid of it in the second game. It was a cool
All right,
controller.
Waz, what's up?
All right, mine, homemade mac and cheese.
Oh,
I love
Hell
it.
yeah.
Homemade mac and cheese. This is very specific, but like there was a way that my mom made it that just to this day, thinking about it, it's mouth watering. It takes me back to my childhood. My older siblings were off at school. I don't know. I guess my younger sister was napping or whatever. But of her and me sitting down at the table, eating macaroni and cheese, she putting salt and pepper on hers, and she'd read a book, and I would pretend to read a book as well. And so I just had this, and it was a book that had a blue cover, and it always seemed to be this one book that I was pretending to read while we were eating. And so I'd have it out and look at it, and I'd eat some, and then I'd look at it, and I'd flip pages, and I was looking at the pictures.
one fish,
But
2 fish, red
It's
fish,
just-
blue fish.
Nope, wasn't even that. It was because the book was only about this big. It was like a pocket-sized book almost for an adult.
Hey,
But-
so you just sparked some nostalgia for me. I've mentioned this before. My mom was a terrible cook. She didn't cook anything from scratch. Everything was out of a box. Everything was out of a can. My mom was just a bad cook.
She
And
cooked it from itch. not
and my
from-
dad never cooked. Like, I don't even know if my dad knew where the cooking stuff was. I don't even know if he knew where that was. But when I got older, like high school age, my mom stopped cooking altogether. And she's like, basically, fend for yourself. And she would, like, I'd eat cereal for dinner sometimes or whatever. And you mentioned mac and cheese. My mom would buy those, like, they're probably like $5 now, but they were like $1 Michelinas type, like things that you put in the microwave for like a whatever. And I used to get the mac and cheese one. Like I tell her, I get it all the time. And I would cut hot dogs up and put it in there. And I'd make a
Mac
whole
and
meal
weenie.
of like beanie weenie mac and cheese.
Mac and weenie.
Yeah.
And like when you said that mac and cheese, I immediately went back to freshman year, me cutting like
Weenie
hot
Mac.
dogs and putting it
Nothing like
inside
weenie,
inside these like dollar mac and cheese things.
Yep.
Dude,
Another
so
good thing to add to them is pepperoni. Stick the
Oh,
pepperoni
yeah.
in the microwave,
Absolute- any meat, really.
nuke it till it's crisp, and then break it up and crumble it on there. It's wonderful. And now my
So
wife makes
good.
a baked mac and cheese. That is
I'm the
wonderful.
cook in our
You
family.
put broccoli in it. You put ham in it.
We
So
have to
good.
know this though, and this is what we know. Talking about baked mac is always superior, but corner piece, middle piece.
All of it.
Oh yeah, well yes, all
No,
of it,
I
but
did-
it's-
That for baked mac and cheese, it doesn't matter to me. I like it crispy. I like the stuff in the middle. I love it
the
all.
cheese noodle jerky that gets caked onto the side is the best bite
It's the
of
best bite.
almost any food, and we all know what I'm talking about. That
No.
little burnt
Yes.
in.
Same with the brownie. It's the best
I
bite.
don't-
used to
don't like
love
egg
burnt
brownies
food
either.
because my mom, but the best burnt food is cheese. Like,
Yes. Yes.
I'll take the bowl. Like my wife will be like, I'm going to soak this. I'm like, no. I'm scraping. the
Same. I do the
piece.
same
I look
thing.
like a monster.
Love All
I
right,
love this
well, look,
pick. I love this pick. This is a great pick.
yeah, I mean, Good job. Good job. But I'm going to make this next one. It's my turn, right?
Yeah.
Making it easy.
Wow, we're Rushmoreing.
I didn't know we would crush more, and it makes sense that we did, but I'm going also with conventions, Andy. Making it real easy. So everything that you said, it is a nostalgia bomb. I immediately thought of this weekend. While I was there this weekend, I was like, oh, this is on my list for sure. Going from station to station, whether it's toys, video games, old DVDs and VHS tapes, and then all the creators and everybody that's there, their shows. There's so many creators that I follow that are just like niched right to a certain part of the nostalgia world. And you wouldn't even meet these guys if you didn't see them at these conventions sometimes. Like there's so many small parts of YouTube and internet that comes from these conventions. But like guys like Chris, who has a video game booth, and I met Owazrim over there, and I remember he had like some stuffies and some action figures and things when we were at his booth. I remember my son wanting to buy stuff that was at his. I remember it like I think it was maybe it might have been like those marshmallow freaking stuffed animals or whatever, something like that. But anyways,
Squishmallows.
Yeah, Squishmallows, all kinds of stuff. But just like walking through and seeing the Muscle Men and seeing the Battle Beast, going back to the St. Tammany Collector's Con, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, and then I'm done. There's a place, it's called Brick Toys, and it takes up like 3 or 4 of the edge all the time. And I barely go over there because it's kind of away from everything. But every time I walk over there, they have the same toys. And they have like a G.I. Joe Hydrofoil that I had as a kid. They had a mask. They have a mask, a couple different mask 18-wheelers. They've got like the old water moccasin G.I. Joe boat. They've got like remote control cars I had as kids. And just like going through there, it's kind of like going through Toys R Us again from the 80s. Like walking through and like, oh my gosh, like this moment in time. And that's what a convention does to me every time. And I love doing it with my kids. I love doing it with Andy and all of you guys. And it is just a great time. It is the most nostalgic thing that we can do each and every year. It's so awesome. So conventions is it.
Yeah. Obviously, I agree with you. I didn't know we'd get a Crushmore today, so that's pretty cool.
Well, I actually penciled this one and my George in right while I was at the convention. I was like, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So, all right. So, Andy, you're up. We've already talked about that one. We can make some time up.
Yeah, this is how we're making time up. All right, so I am going to show you something. This is, I'm going to share my screen.
Let me show you something.
I'm going to share my screen with you because there is a sound that in itself, I mean, there's a little nostalgia to the sound, but what is usually accompanied with the sound is it's always something nostalgic. And I mentioned before that I just love watching this stuff. So let me, without any further ado, let me play what brings back all of nostalgia right now. This sound. Wait,
That's such a good audio.
And now it's all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, that
This guy makes
sound,
one of the bangers.
I'm not even saying this for dramatic effect.
That's the song they used for their post.
Dude,
Yeah.
it makes me tear up. Like I watch those, it's like I mentioned I watched the reels with my daughter, and it's like things about the 90s and 2000s, and it's like things we'll never experience again, and it's like that Friday night,
Like an abandoned mall, and they're doing that song.
Yeah, or like
quit.
discontinued foods, or like what gym class was like in the 90s, like with the parachute and the carts, or like cartoons, just whatever that reel is. when it has that sound to it, dude, I'm locked in.
I'm locked into.
Immediately, it's like these reeds are put on my brain, and I'm just brought to
Yeah.
that place.
Yeah.
You know, like I see myself, and I'm like that, like I'm warping through time. Like, dude, that
The guy made
sound.
such a good edit with it. He made such a good mix with that sound.
Yeah,
from
and it's
Donkey Kong
used
Country.
everywhere.
And the best one is the one that's slowed down and has a lot of reverb.
Mhm.
We use it a lot whenever, because here in Georgia, there's a lot of places that are kind of like stuck in time. Like there's a
That's
mall.
something we want to explore more.
So whenever we find places like that are kind of like very 90s looking and stuff, we always use that sound, and it just goes so well with it. I mean, to begin with, the original song, the Aquatic Ambience from Donkey Kong Country alone is such a nostalgic sound. And then he just makes
I will go out on a limb and tell you, as great of video game music is out there, every water level always is my favorite music.
Slaps. It slaps.
Dire Docks from Super Mario 64 might be one of the greatest video game songs ever. The Aquatic Ambience from Donkey Kong, like there's something about
play a game just so I can get to the water part.
Yeah, and normally I hate those levels though. You know what I mean? Like, but it's the music makes it bearable, but it also makes me think of like an aquarium, and I went to the aquarium when I was a kid, like, or the IMAX theater, like just something like very spacey, like, oh man. Anyway, that sound, Aquatic Ambience, just brings me all the nostalgia feels.
Like, I know you're not in Georgia, but if you go down to Villa Rica, there's an Ingalls that has not been touched since the 80s. There's still like the old vine, like the old ivy on top of the deli counter. Everything's neon, like meats neon.
Yeah.
Cold cut, like bakery neon.
The Ingalls by our house just closed.
Oh no, I love Ingalls. There's a whole thing going on with like grocery stores closing, and it's very scary. We should all be concerned. But yeah, like it blows my mind. And you like the people working there, like they have like a weird energy of like, are you also stuck in time? Like
what happened to this town? Yeah,
like they're smoking inside, and then like I go to pay, and I have my son, and I don't want my son to like smell the smoke. And she's like, "Oh no, let's tap it out." And I'm like, "What world am I in where you're smoking inside of a grocery store?"
It's like you're in Stranger Things. Like something happened. This is the upside down. I don't know.
It's the upside down for sure.
What about you, Oz? I mean, have you heard this? I'm sure you've heard this sound before.
I mean, as soon as it started going like 2 or 3 bars in, I was like, oh, it took me to Donkey Kong Country and the water level, and like it was like, okay, nice and peaceful, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's just nice and it's calming. And then while you're talking though, like I was like, and then counteract that with the sound in Sonic when you're about to drown.
That's a very stressful song. Yeah. Sonic was stressful, but yeah, I love this. Also,
Linda the Gator Gal's up in here. Welcome in.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country is my favorite video game of all time. Series of games.
Yankees win. Yes, they do.
It's solid.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are now to the Jorge, the George, the numero uno. Pammy, you get the honors of starting us off. The number one nostalgia trigger, in your opinion. What you
Such
got?
pressure. So I feel like a lot of these have like come back to my dad, and I think it's because we didn't have like as much.
I could have done this whole list just going towards my dad.
Yeah. So, like, I feel like it's because we didn't have as much time growing up, whereas, like, my mom and I had, like, a whole Gilmore Girls relationship, whereas, like, I didn't have as much time with my dad growing up because he worked a lot. But I think my top is, it's really hard for me because I really want to pick something that I feel like you guys would like. But my dad he was a wrestler. And anything original WWE, like I'm not talking like Steve Austin, I'm talking like pre that, like China, Goldust, like all The Rock, which I mean my dad wasn't wrestling when The Rock was big, but like anything 90s WWE, I think about my dad, and my dad used to take me to the wrestling rink on his days off. My dad knew Dusty Rhodes, who was a big wrestler back in the day in like the 80s and 90s. Like he was Uncle Dusty, so I like knew all these semi-celebrities in the pro wrestling world because of that. And it was like my dad ended up having to quit wrestling because like my mom was like, it's too much of the kid. And I was like, Meh. But there was one Halloween, I told my parents I wanted to go to China. And if you remember China at all, her outfit was very risque. And I'm like, no, I want to be China because I want to be like dad. And my mom was like, you don't realize how much you're like dad. You cannot go to on Halloween as China. So I cried that whole Halloween. I was really upset, but anything like WWE related reminds me of my dad, brings me back to the wrestling rink. Like we go to the wrestling rink and then we go to this place called Boomers, which is like a big place in South Florida. And to the like actually back at CG, they have all these retro wrestlers from the 90s. And I almost picked one up just to like have one. I know because I didn't have a WWE toy. I was a girl. But I was like, should I just pick one up to have one? So yeah, anything 90s WWE, it's a big trigger for me.
Love this pick. Look, here we go. Dwayne, you just said Gold Dust, so there's Gold Dust. My favorite, Taker. You know, I got what, and I got a ton more over there. I got a ton.
Hey,
I bought these from my
so do you
friend
smell
over
that?
at
one of the big things that my son bought there was just a lot, not a lot, but a
lot. Yeah.
Of action figures, wrestling action figures. We watched Raw last night, and he pulled them all out. He's like, Dad, tell me who this guy's tag team partner was, and it'd be like Triple H, and it'd be like, well, it's this guy, it's HBK. Well, what about this person? I was like, well, it's this guy, and like he has probably, I don't know, maybe 50 to 60, and he loves wrestling. We go often. Actually, it was in Atlanta this past week, but we were in camp. If we weren't at camp, we would have went.
Wow.
But Andy and I are both pretty big wrestling fans. We've got some wrestling shows coming up. We've had wrestling shows before. So, Pammy, you got to tell us, was your dad ever on TV?
Yeah, but only local. I mean, I think he maybe had 1 or 2 national shows, but it was mostly local. And what's weird is when we came up to look at houses up in Georgia, you know, like we invited my dad because my cousins already live up this way. So we all stayed with like my cousins, and we're at this restaurant.
Atlanta's a hotbed for wrestlers. They're everywhere.
Yeah. So like we're at this restaurant, and this guy's like just staring down my dad, and like my dad's like not intimidating to look at. So it's like what are you doing staring at us like that? And we're like, okay. And then he walks up to my dad, and he's like, "Were you on the Sunshine Channel back in 1980, blah, 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 to like 19 something." And apparently he knew my dad's whole career. He put stuff on YouTube about my dad.
Wow.
Like
That's
he asked
cool.
my dad for a signature on his golf stuff. And my dad's like, I don't want to ruin your golf stuff. And this guy's like, you're just.
Oh my gosh. I thought you said on his gallstone.
Like, no.
That would have been hilarious.
Like play golf.
Like golf.
You got it removed.
I don't need it anymore.
So here's a cool moment. I mean,
Oh.
we've met wrestlers before. I got a couple guys. I got Flair and Mankind's autograph, a couple other guys. But my daughter plays really high level softball, and she does this like workout over in Norcross. Well, now it's in Buford, but it used to be in Norcross. And one of the days we go in there, they had always had a wrestling ring in there, but I never knew what it was used for. And one of these days we walk in, and they had changed it and rebranded it, and it said the Nightmare Factory on it, and it was Cody Rhodes's school. And Cody, Arn Anderson, Glacier, all these guys were standing there watching all these guys like practice it and trying to get on AEW. And like they were out there like wrestling and learning. And it was so cool.
Awesome.
And it was right after, and I mean, you guys might not watch anymore, but somebody that does watch, but Cody had tore his pec, and he was just all like black and blue.
Yeah.
And his pec was torn there, and it was all like disgustingly black and blue. But anyways, and my daughter was working out, and she's like, Dad, who are those people you're taking pictures of? And I was like, well, that's Arn Anderson, and that's Glacier, and that's so it's like there were so many people there. But yeah, we love wrestling. And
I
that's
have another action figure of a wrestler who was known in a negative light especially in Georgia, right over there. But I wasn't going to show him on the screen.
The Crippler.
The Crippler is over there.
Well, he looks like our friend Marcus.
I laugh at this guy's face all the time. But no, our guy BK Toys was selling these for like $1 a piece, loose figures. I was like,
snatch them up.
I bought like 15 of them from him. So
They make a lot of wrestling figures. There's a lot of them
And
out
like,
there.
what's weird is I didn't have one, and then like, what's weird now is if I want to talk to my dad about it, he gets like, "Oh, I'm not really into that stuff anymore, Pammy," and I'm like, "Why?"
that was your
Like,
life.
like I feel like I'm missing. Like, to me, it's funny because like this is the second time my parents something felt so fundamental for me, and even though like yes, it's a memory for them, they were so busy in the trenches of new parenthood and making money and they didn't realize that we were forming core memories. To them, they're like, well, I mean, no, it was really cool I was able to do that for you, sweetie, but you know, like I haven't wrestled in 20 years. And I'm like, wrestle now. Like,
Hey,
so
listen, I don't know if he could wrestle now. He falls asleep in Star Wars.
I just read. Hey,
in Star Wars while wrestling, just saying. I think what it was is he would work during the day, and then he'd go wrestle at night, and then
he was moonlighting wrestling.
He was,
Yeah.
and that's when my mom wanted him to quit because she was like, "This is too much. You can't do this." And she wasn't wrong, but yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture.
That was worth our day here. That is a cool story.
I love that story.
Yeah.
So Javi, can you beat it?
Oh no, that's why I was happy that Pammy was going first because Pammy's a cool
Was
one.
your dad a lucha libre?
Look who it is here! It's Moore's Garage.
Hey,
Oh,
look at
goodness.
these beautiful people. More is in the house.
More, you would have been very happy with me because I picked something N64 just before this. But
yeah. What's up, Mort? Potentially, Mort will join us again. Video games, movie related down in the future. Mort is just amazing. Hey, Mort. So I got to tell you a story real quick. When I was picking your thing and I picked Sunny Day Real Estate for you, I remembered, for whatever reason, I was looking for a video. I remembered that on your podcast, you wore that shirt. And so I went back to the podcast and I'm like, let me see if I'm remembering correctly. And I was like, yep, it was on your podcast. You're wearing the shirt. And I was like, I'm picking that song for sure. But anyways, it's just a cool thing. I like Sunny Real Estate too. So
Elder emo.
Very emo. But I've been listening to it like all day now because I went to go listen to it and now it's like on my Spotify, right? So like it keeps coming up. It's pretty cool. I am only ever happy with you. Oh, that's so nice. Hey, Todd Does All Things, who will be on the show in a few weeks.
What's up, Todd?
Todd will be on the show in a few things. Everybody, he's a new YouTuber, and he's going to be on the show probably, I don't know, 3-4 weeks. Go and follow him, support him. He's so funny. He is so funny. He's going to be on the show. He's from he's from the ministry world that we're in. Please go support Todd.
His channel title tells you everything you need to know. He does all.
Yeah, he just does all things with like his family, his kids, and stuff. Mort is a better narrator than Morgan Freeman. Changed my mind. Hey, Mort, I did watch your new video, and man, I love it. You missed out on the Nintendo Power, and I was like, man, he's gonna spend like $40 for a $1 Power, and that guy hooked you up. That is a really cool move.
All right, well, we got to throw Todd a wrench, but while we're doing that,
yeah, I'm gonna throw Todd a wrench.
Javi, let's get to your George, your number one.
Alrighty. So my first one, and it's actually one of the reasons why us collecting spiral even further into like me get kind of like fall in love with cardboard and this all this expensive cardboard, and it's the Super Nintendo box. Why the Super Nintendo box? When we started collecting about last year, and I saw that box at a video game store, it immediately sent me back to the 1990s in downtown Miami, where my dad bought me the Super Nintendo when I was a kid. And the reason why this memory is so strong and why like I said, spiral us into collecting more and more and more is because I didn't remember that up until I saw that box. It was like a lost memory for me. I always kind of like joke with my siblings that I'm like the worst at remembering stuff out of all of us. and somehow video games and retro stuff has sparked a lot of memories that have been like lost for me. But
That's been nice to see.
that one specifically, every time I look at that box, it just comes rushing back, and it's so vivid. It's such a vivid memory now that I'm just chasing that basically every single time that I'm out looking at retro games and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
the Super Nintendo box, one of my favorite consoles for sure. It's such a triggering thing.
Super Nintendo is. We talked about consoles not long ago. It is my link, and rightfully so. It has Link to the Past, but it is. Gosh, I love the Super Nintendo. I usually when I go to play an old game, it's an old Super Nintendo game. It really, that's like my go-to. I love it to death, and this is awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, and then if you have the Super Set, it's got the best Mario game of all time on top of it.
Exactly.
Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. I know that's a hot take.
That was your George.
But it is fantastic.
Great game.
I love this pick, Super Nintendo. I actually just bought a Super Nintendo at the last con that I was at, so I've got that, Donkey Kong Country, and All Stars. Those are the 3 games that I bought to start off with. Because you got to have All Stars. You got to knock a few of them out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
My brother had the Super Nintendo. I had the Genesis, but I have some great memories of both.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, he's a Genesis guy. Old robot.
I had a Genesis too growing up. In fact, and you'll like this, and you probably heard when we talked about the show, one of my favorite games of all time is Rocket Knight Adventures. That game is, with Sparkster, super fun.
Yeah,
But I love
it's fun.
platformers. That's just kind of my wheelhouse.
We have to do platformers, right?
We haven't done that. That would be a tough one. Just
We have to do platformers if anybody wants to come on to platformers during video games. We haven't done platformers yet. But yeah, good pick, man. I love this pick. Now, Andy, it's my turn, and
No, it's not.
No, it's Waz. We got
All right.
The other beard.
So-
It's the other beard's pick.
the other beard.
Yes. This one's gonna be weird. And it's not something I actually enjoyed doing as a kid. But as soon as I could, I worked on trying to get this when I had a house. And that was getting a stacked wood pile.
Okay.
Yeah, like what does this have to do with anything? As a kid, we did not have central heat and air. We had there was no AC. We just used fans. But in the wintertime, we had a wood burning stove. So throughout the year, Dad, myself, my brother, we would go up into the hills and some guy's cow pasture and cut up oak trees that had fallen down. And that's what we would use to burn for the winter to keep the house warm. And so, like I said, we'd go up there. Dad would cut stuff with a chainsaw. My brother and I would hack at it with a sledgehammer and a wedge or an axe, depending on the size. But it was, looking back, it's really, really, really cool because there was a special meal that we would take with us. And it wasn't anything like crazy, but it was just like a simple ham and cheese sandwich and a bag of chips. And the occasional time we would actually have a soda to go with it. And, we'd cut the wood, we'd put it on a trailer, we'd take it home, we'd unload it, split more of it there, but we would stack it up. And so
Hey, Sam's still hanging around.
Yeah, he's still there. There's something special to me, and it takes me back to that time, spending time with my dad. And my dad passed away over 20 years ago. And so that might have one of the reasons why this is my top, my George, because it was a special time with Dad. And there was times when my brother didn't go, especially when he got older. He had other things to do, and so it was just my dad and I. And it was just a good bonding time and just hanging out and watching my dad work and like realizing, hey, if it wasn't for this, we would be much colder during the winter time. And Dad worked all day. And so on the weekends, it was usually Saturday was when we would go and do it. And, we had a gooseneck trailer, load that puppy up, and just it really brings me back. And so we don't have a wood burning stove, so I love to do bonfires now. But I love having that stockpile of wood because it reminds me of my dad.
Wow. I love that pick. That is awesome. You're making me rethink
I
my
love
George.
the stories that always go with what we talk about. Hey, saying you had a whopping 2 subscribers. Now you're up to 3. Everybody go do that. But I have a lot of really cool memories about burning wood, like bonfires, camping, our old fireplace, those kind of things. I love that. I love camping. My wife hates it. She's like, I am never going camping.
I was born in the right century.
Yeah, I love camping. I love it. I love everything about it. And when we go like to church camp, Andy, it's kind of more like glamping a little bit because we have cabins and central heat and central air. But there are parts of it like the lakes and we can start a fire usually in like youth camp, and do those kind of things. I love this pick. My mom passed away in 2001, so that's 24 years ago. But her birthday is actually today. Happy birthday, Mom! And my sister's birthday's today. Happy birthday, Tracy. And my dad passed away in 13, so like 12 years ago. And whenever we can have a memory about like hanging out as a kid with our parents, it's just really cool, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that pick. And your beard makes sense now, so that's good. So you've earned it. You've earned it. Many people, it's the beard's kind of like a niche thing now. You've earned it. So
yeah,
it's a hipster thing.
the hipster thing. Yeah. But that's awesome. Love that.
I will say, yeah, good pick. My turn. Andy, you kind of mentioned it earlier, and I was like, don't do that, because my number one, my George, is the Rushmore Show. And listen, when we first started this, I actually put I only used the banner for a few things, and one of them, and it's still already locked and loaded in here. I just got to pull it up. But when you can actually like put like words and things in here, and one of the words that I decided to put in here was nostalgia, because it was like I was like, every time somebody says nostalgia, I'm gonna put it out there. And so we did like Rosie, which we don't ever use these. TJ, Jazzy, Jeff, Link, George. We were gonna we're gonna use that sometime, but I put iconic, which we say all the time, and nostalgia. And honestly, our whole show is nostalgia. It's all about taking a blast of the past with you guys. And I know it might be maybe kind of cheating, but like I chose conventions in the Rushmore Show while I was at the convention. I was like, the 2 most iconic things that we're doing right now is the conventions in the show. And seeing guys like Kevin show up in the chat every week. And my friend Warren messaged me, and I'm just going to say, it's, hey, Retro Cart just got home. He got rerouted to, so we got rerouted to Toronto? Was it Toronto he got rerouted to? I don't know. He got rerouted, and he hung out in Atlanta for a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Rushmore Show in general. Not necessarily like to brag on our show, but like the people in the chat, the people in the comments, the people that come on the panel. It's probably the most nostalgic thing we do. Every week, it's like therapy, and it's nostalgia therapy. It's like, what are we going to talk about today? It's like Phineas and Ferb. What are we going to do today? So, yeah, I'm going to go with the easy one, the softball pitch.
That was actually in my Benjamins. I was going to hold on to it because I wasn't sure it was going to be mentioned. But yeah, it's a good pick. It's a good pick. I love the term nostalgia therapy because I feel like that's what it is.
Dude, that just came to my mind, and it really is. It's like nostalgia therapy. Yeah. So David Bryant, that is. Oh, this is Owazrim saying this. Yeah. This is all special things. So I have the hammer that your dad. That's awesome, man. That is so cool. PnX
if I had a hammer, isn't that a song?
The John Henry song.
It's hammer time. It's hammer time.
Oh, it's hammer time.
Oh, there's that one too.
What's with the pants?
Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer.
Oh.
All right, Andy, finish this show off so we can get over.
Yeah. My George, I do this probably every day. I'm not even exaggerating, probably every day. And partly because I'm just stuck in this time, but partly because I love it, but mostly because of the nostalgia that it brings. And here's the deal. Barry caught it. Rammer Jammer Yellow Hammer. Anyway.
Me too, still hanging around.
My
Thank you.
George of nostalgia triggers is listening to 2000s pop punk or emo music, and it's everything. I know it's broad, but if My Chemical Romance, that one
This is you.
the note plays, I'm just transported. I listen to Yellow Card. I listen to Thursday, Taking Back Sunday. Paramore's like my favorite band.
Yeah.
I listen to all of these groups, even like Spill Canvas and Boys Like Girls, like that kind of stuff. Like again, graduating from high school 2007, the late 90s, early 2000s pop punk and emo scene, Blink 182s, the Sum 41, gosh, I mean, I can just go on forever talking about these groups. Newfound Glory, I love Newfound Glory still. I mean, it's just, if I'm listening to worship music and then I'm listening to pop punk and emo from the 2000s. I don't want anything. I don't want it all. It was perfected, and we don't have to keep adding things to music. I all the time. You ask my wife, this is what we listen to. Even so much so that my kids, at least my oldest, like that's music that she likes. She likes that music now. Like she's like, can we put on AFI, right? Girls Not Gray, like that, like some old stuff there. Some of the AFI stuff I wasn't as big into. They were kind of more on that theatrical side of emo. Like I don't want to say just like Panic at the Disco, but they were a little bit in that realm to me. But still good stuff. All that stuff, and then you branch into kind of more of the heavy, like screaming stuff and stuff like that kind of stuff too. I was a big fan of. So, but just all of that early 2000s pop punk and emo, I love it. Story of the year, dude. I just was listening to Anthem of Our Dying Day the other day. Like they're just so good. I love that saying is right there with me with that. I will say that one of my pet peeves though, when it comes to that, is when you like find a list and it's like top 10 emo songs or emo bands of the 2000s, and it's like Evanescence. Like that's not emo. Stop that. Or that's just a little pet peeve. But even with that said, I do love Evanescence anyway. But that was my George. I knew from the beginning this was it. Kirk will tell you, man, when he comes here and if we're driving to a con, what music am I putting on? It's this.
Yeah,
this is what I'm listening to.
He's got a few different a few little lists, and usually they come on, and he teaches me a lot about it. I love the music. What I'll just say is, music after. Stop the slander.
Hey, I will tell you, I was like 12, 13, 14, around that Amy Lee Evanescence time. Like she was my wife. Okay, so that's,
she was all of our wives, sir.
Yeah, it was.
You can't have her.
I love Amy Lee. I mean,
I love
listen, when My Immortal comes on and that drum, that little 10 seconds of music at the end of My Immortal is like that. Anyway, I'll stop.
I sang
Amy
that
Lee,
song.
something I've never heard in a while. Broken Seether featuring Amy Lee.
Broken by Seether. But that Amy Lee song you just mentioned, I sang that for a chorus audition.
Yeah.
And I sang all the parts. And I didn't get in. But I did get made fun of a lot. And thank God the internet really didn't exist to like the same degree. Because I
We
thought
said that often. Like, thank God the internet didn't exist. Which is funny. If the internet did exist, we'd at least have all these stories we talk about right now and be able to be like, hey, look, this is it. Because we talk about them still. But
you know what? That being said, Gen Z is scared to do anything because they don't want to end up online and like be like shunned or shamed. So really, we just had a lot more fun if you think about it.
It's all
did
just
have more
memories.
fun. And I will tell you this: all the scary things in the world were happening then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
We just didn't know about it.
You didn't know about it because no one had a phone.
Well, I shared this with we one of the guys we go to camp with. He is literally a Navy SEAL. He trains Navy SEALs and all that. We were talking at lunch one day. I said, you know, during World War II, there were over 1 million deaths. During Desert Storm, there were like 3,500. Everybody went crazy during Desert Storm for the 3,500. And just one is too many. Let me just say that. But can you imagine if the internet was going on during World War II? Like 1 million people. Like the people would have lost their minds because you didn't find out about deaths until like 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Like and anyways, tangent.
All right, so back to the topic at hand.
Back to the lecture at hand.
2000s pop punk and emo. Any other thoughts?
Love it. You always kind of introduce me to somebody new, and like, hey, listen to this. I love when you show me like a remix that somebody's done of somebody of whatever, like those kind of things. But I enjoy all music. My problem is I never really knew who sung it. Like after my world, like 2000 on, I was like, I like that song. I just don't know who sung it. Because I mean, like I just didn't listen to it. So I can appreciate this so much.
There you go. I know that's all I'm listening to when I'm out of here. It's just
So that's our show. That's our show. And then let's do our honorable mentions, which we're gonna kind of blaze through these a little faster than the others, but they are attached to memories. So yeah, we might talk. So it's the same order, except in the second round it goes backwards. In the fourth round it goes backwards. So it's like a snake, and it comes back and it goes there. We call it Benjamin Franklin because our honorable mentions, somewhere down on the internet said Benjamin Franklin was the 5th guy on the mountain. So who missed your mountains? All right, Pammy, you're up first. What missed all of our mountains? We can't say anything that's already been mentioned. What missed your mountain? Our mountain.
Pogs.
What's that?
Pogs.
Pogs. My daughter asked me the other day.
Whammer, jammer, slammer.
What's a pog?
Milk.
Someone tried to tell me Pogs don't take skill. They're a liar.
Yeah, you got some milk caps. I actually was looking at some Pogs the other day. I had my little tube thing. I pulled it out and showed my.
Did you have the display case? Did you have like where you?
I didn't have a display case, but I had.
I didn't. I was very middle class, as I've stated before. It was about yay big, and my friends had one that were like a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And I was, he
My
actually.
neighbor had like the silo protector. It was like a whole. I was like, what in the world are we doing here? Yeah.
So no plastic little sleeve like baseball cards where you put your Pogs in.
No, you didn't have a binder.
No, I had the tube thing with the top.
I've got a tube.
That's what I had
somewhere too.
Like it looked like a paper.
I have it
roll.
somewhere.
Yeah.
She
just picked up a couple of pogs that. So
I have some unopened Pogs downstairs of like Shaquille O'Neal.
Wow.
Those will be worth dollars.
But to me, they're worth $2.
Yeah.
You
buy that for $2?
I'll buy that for. It actually has KB Toys sticker still on.
Sticker on it.
That's awesome.
All right, Javi, what's yours?
All right, so my first one is gonna be. I don't know if anybody remembers because I know I was a little older for this, but for some reason I just love this from Nick Jr. Bass from Nick Jr.
Bass, yeah.
Hey.
When he does it so like oh my god, I love it. Yeah. My face was
the real one. His is an imposter. His speaks Spanish. It did something to my brain I didn't like when I heard it.
Yeah. But funnily enough, I can listen to both English and Spanish and it triggers because I guess I heard him on both whenever.
I didn't hear him on both, and mine's the real one.
Me llamo face. What?
He says me llamo cara. Same thing. Yeah.
Hey,
Hola,
you'll appreciate this, Javi. So I'm raising money because I'm going to Argentina in November, and I'm doing challenges along the way. My next one that I have to do is I had to speak Spanish for an entire day. So
that's awesome.
And I know poquito. So
you're gonna love it over there. Argentina.
I was.
This will be my 4th time going. I love Argentina.
Yeah.
All right, Oaz, we're up to you now.
Mine-
What is your?
Mine is walking into a pizzeria, and it has to have a certain smell, but it takes me back to the pizzeria back home. Like it's that pepperoni and the cheese, and it has to be just right. But it warps me back there to Round Table Pizza, the town I grew up, that had the arcade on the side. So you got hit with the smell of the pizza, and then you'd hear the arcade machines going.
Yeah.
And
I literally want to walk in that place right now.
yeah, just because you'd walk in, you turn, and you have to go past the arcades to go to the place where you'd sit and eat your pizza. And just that's where I played Street Fighter, the Turtles arcade game, Captain America, and the Avengers, and who knows how many others. And how many times we went in there trying to hit the button, get the coin change, to see if anything would come through, so we could play one more game. But the smell, and I don't really even know exactly how to describe the smell. It has to be just right. But you walk in and it's like, poof, and it transports you back.
Yeah, we had that at Pizza Hut over here. There was a Pizza Hut buffet.
Mr. Daddy's.
Yeah. That's good
Pizza
stuff.
is
Believe it or not, we had a fun a garage sale about last year. And we're looking through all the items, and I'm like looking through like, hey, what's the first dibs I just want to take, because it was one we were doing, and it was one of those, and it's in there. I just didn't use it tonight. I normally use it. It's that red cup that you would have at like restaurants. That red cup.
The red Coca-Cola cup.
Yeah, it's a Coca-Cola cup. It's red, and that I drink from that cup. That's my cup. People know that's mine.
Those originals resell for crazy, by the way.
I don't know if
because it triggers that nostalgia. Like if you someone had them listed like closing my 1990s pizza place, and he wanted $30 a cup, but he got it. Wow, good for him.
It's to me, it's the cup I want to drink from. It's good pick up. All right, Kirk.
Yeah, this one's easy for me. I haven't said any food yet, so I'm going grandma's peanut butter fudge. When my grandma was when she was still alive, she didn't have a ton of money, but she would make peanut butter fudge when she came to every holiday, and she would put it in a big tent. And when grandma pulled up, me and my sisters would run out. Whoever got to the tent first got first piece, and would hide it because you wanted to have them all. There's peanut butter fudge out there. I get some at Buc-ee's all the time. I'll get some whenever there's a fudge creamery or, like in a mall or whatever. None are like grandma's, but every single one of them bring me to holidays, hiding, all that. Yeah, man. It's peanut butter fudge.
Yeah. You love peanut butter. That much is known about it.
And that's probably why, honestly.
You're a peanut butter boy.
Peanut butter pie.
Sounds like a threat.
So, Andy, you got 2 back to back.
So I'm continuing my theme with the sounds right now, and it's the sound of cicadas. That brings me to a childhood when I would go outside in the summer and it's screaming bugs.
Everyone's so crazy.
I love that.
I can feel the heat when the cicadas, you know what I mean? There's just that.
And you know what's funny? We always called them locusts.
Yeah.
And then,
you would go
as an older person, I realized that's not the locust.
You'd find the whole shell of the locust. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, cicadas, just the sound.
John Cicada?
John Cicada.
My next one is John Cicada. No, my next one is another sound, but there's also a taste associated with it. But you first get it as a sound, and you're immediately excited. It's an ice cream truck. The sound that.
Oh yeah.
When you heard that, we're bolting out the door. We're scrambling.
How about Master P's version?
Yeah.
It's
Well, in
the
New Orleans, we did have some trap beats in ours. So ours were
Never
crazy.
gonna give you up.
No, ice cream trucks are definitely my next one.
Ice cream
and then
trucks
and then it's getting the ice cream with either the Bart Simpson that has the gumball, getting the Choco Taco, getting the
Which
the
we
good
put
humor,
to bed. We put
the
to bed.
good humor bar, the strawberry shortcake bar. Yeah, a couple of those for sure.
All right. If Kevin is out there, there's not many people left, but Kevin, if you're out there, I'm going to say one next that you're going to want to be here for. So hopefully you're out there. So let me know if you're out there. I'm going to go with my smell.
Your
brings
smell
me-
is
with
my
my
own
smell.
mouth.
My smell is nostalgia. Just yeah. No, I'm going to go with the smell on my list, and it is 100% what used to be in the backyard, growing all over the fence, honeysuckle. And going outside and pulling the flowers off and taking the little bit of nectar and just doing that with the smell.
That smell.
That smell, Leonard Skinner. But
Smells like Teen Spirit.
honeysuckle is 100% my favorite smell ever.
Smells like Teen Spirit. That's what he said.
Smells like childhood is what it smells like.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you
at
go.
least that smell wasn't Teen Spirit. All right, Pammy. No,
Nope.
Owazrim, and then
You keep wanting to skip him.
He just wants to skip me. He's jealous of the beard
That's
Yeah.
Mine's better.
That's what's happening.
and the mustache.
I am kind of jelly.
It was actually mentioned really early on in chat. Like, did anyone say anything about this? But the Sega shout when you boot up the game. But so you had that one, and then you had the Sega, and then there was different versions of it, like the Tyrannosaurus Rex in Jurassic Park. Sega. Different versions of it, but you get the Sega, and then you get the Sega, and it takes you to different places. But it's
Every time we do like a Sega top 4 or whatever that has something to do with Sonic or whatever, my little thing down there is Sega. We all know was that Master System is not Master Outlet.
He likes a lot of RPGs. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Sega is awesome. Yeah. Javi, you're up.
All right, I'm gonna go with the food. Something I don't get to eat as much, but I do treat myself anytime that we're on vacation, and that is cereal.
Ooh,
Cereal.
Nice.
I love that.
Cereal.
Definitely
That's a good
my
ratio.
next pick.
So what cereal?
Specifically either Lucky Charms or what's the oh my god
Phillips.
no the other one Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes,
Frosted
Fruity
Flakes.
Pebbles, Cinnamon Toast
See,
Crunch.
those are
Oh,
not.
Yeah, but then he gets sick. And he's like, I'm on vacation, and it's like, bro, you're sick.
I ate a lot of it on vacation, but yeah, oh my god, he just takes me back. Kids, cartoons in the morning. Oh my god, it's just the best
So
thing.
listen, you're taking my next one completely. I was gonna say bowl of cereal, watching a cartoon. So that's perfect, man.
Nintendo
Perfect.
cereal. There you go.
Dude, Nintendo cereal, that corn was great. Yeah, it's awesome. They had the fruity Mario side, and you had the more like corn puff Zelda side. Really cool. All right, Pammy, you get 2 back to back.
Okay, so the one I'm picking is the original Taco Bell. Am I going?
Yes.
So the original Taco Bell, with all the bright blue and pink. That was like
The 80s look.
Huh?
Yeah, there are
The
not
80s look.
Saturday morning cartoons anymore, but you can watch cartoons on Saturday. Just letting you know.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, that Taco Bell. I talked to my wife the other day. We were talking about it because we were talking about this one. I find that Taco Bell, in the realm of like the big chain restaurants, fast food places, has been the most consistent. Like what I taste now, like I'm just talking like just a soft taco, right? Like just standard, has stayed the most consistent from when I was a kid.
You know that they're considered the healthiest fast food restaurant in the United States.
And that's sad. And
Are you kidding?
No, I'm serious. Because you
Like,
can
I think
customize it.
the meat is barely considered meat.
I don't
they
make
meat
rolls.
I remember as a kid, they were like, "Oh, Taco Bell's meat is not A, B, C. It's like E, F, or G." I remember talking about that.
But I mean, as a kid, I loved it. Eating a 12-pack of tacos was wonderful.
I had Taco Bell for the first time in a long time with my son, like maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "This
love
is
Taco Bell.
it's everything I want, everything."
Because I don't drink anymore, I cannot soberly eat Taco Bell. So, I as a kid, I miss it. But as an adult, I get when my dad was like, we got to go home after this, just so you know.
He too says Cracker Jacks. David says Waffle House. Oh, Kevin, don't go nowhere. My next one's for you.
That's why
My
I
next
want
one's
to
for you.
franchise
Don't go anywhere.
And
Yeah,
then
I love that. All right, so you get another one.
I get another one. And then I would say that my other one would be fall period, like what Javi said, fall. Fall will always be my favorite.
That's
And
good.
Florida fall is weird because like we don't have true seasons down there. But back in the 90s, and I swear this doesn't exist anymore, there was a crispness in the air that hit right around mid to late September. And it was just, you could feel the cool. My mom would open the windows and we had this like big tree out front and the leaves would fall. And then like our neighborhood was like the premier neighborhood for trick-or-treating because we had no HOA. So people would go like out and like it was nuts. And everyone would be out trick-or-treating. And my mom never wanted to buy a costume. And I'm just gonna go really quick because I know we're like low on time. But one of my most horrific Halloween memories was I wanted to be Hermione from Harry Potter. I was obsessed with midnight openings with my grandmother. That could have been a trigger, but it's not. So that being said, my mom does the whole thing from the thrift store. And I think I look fantastic. Like, you could not tell me otherwise. The first door I knock on, she goes, "Oh, you're a little old lady. That's so cute."
Oh,
Dreams crushed.
Because like my hair is now straight, but it used to be really, really poofy. So my mom just poofed it out. So I had the Hermione hair. My mom bought a rope from the thrift store and handed me a broom, and that was it. Like, she thought I was just a little old. In every house, thought I was just a little old lady. I got a lot of candy that year, though. Huh?
that's
Hot dog
hilarious.
and nachos, crackers, or Cracker Jacks.
I agree with fall. I agree with fall. We
Yeah.
don't get seasons here in Louisiana either, but there is something about fall that is
Fall,
it's just magical. Yeah.
fall is awesome. All right, Javi, what's next?
All right, mine is gonna be another one. It's gonna be another video game. Mine's Ocarina of Time specifically because one of my best friends moved away around the time that Ocarina came out, and one of my most fun memories with him before he moved away, and we didn't see each other for years, even though we kind of stay in contact. I just visited him in California recently, and I talked to him about this. I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah, we did. You brought your whole N64, and we were playing it. We had like the guide, and we spent like a whole weekend playing Ocarina of Time." And so that's such a fun memory that I have with one of my best friends. So and he sparked my love for Zelda too. So
love
that
this.
and she gave it to me for my birthday last year. So
Love
have it
this.
here.
pick.
love
Oh,
it.
and I got him like an actual ocarina from the Ren Fair.
Oh yeah.
That
Dude,
is so
that's
cool.
awesome.
That was cool.
There was a kid, and he will not anymore in Andy's, but he used to be in Andy and I's youth group, and he used to walk around with an ocarina around his neck.
That's
Mylan.
Yep.
Yeah. So and Owazrim, you're up.
Still trying to skip him.
Yeah,
No,
so,
well, I knew I was next. I'm anxious to.
So this one is another one from childhood, but like the Voltron theme song or anything having to deal with Voltron. Like as
Are you a
kids.
Voltron fan? Why?
Oh yeah, we loved it. I have my childhood
My
Voltron,
George of cartoons.
Yonder.
Well, my Link of cartoons. Link.
but we loved that as a kid. My mom would sit down and watch it with us. We would also like everyone except for Dad because
Summer Squad. Hey, Koi Fish. I
And
need
he
to
loved-
get your day. What you want to be on our show Thursday in January or February. Fat Boy wants to come on too. He might come on with you if that's cool. I know you might not like him because y'all are best friends. But hey, I love Voltron. Such a cool cartoon.
It was so cool. And we would go outside and we would play Voltron. We had trees outside on one side of the house. And so my brother would climb up into his tree. My older sister would climb up into her tree. And I climbed up into the tree that no one else could. And I think my brother and sister were both two of the lions. And then I was the green lion. And we would go and we'd fight roadies. And we'd sit there and grab on the twigs and stuff and pull them all around like we're using controls. It was really fun.
Green Lion was kind of the nerdy guy. And, I
Well,
always liked Hump, right? Because he was the big dude.
He was a big dude that got stuff done.
The yellow lion. And then I really liked Keith, obviously, because he was the
leader.
But I love that. And the Row Beasts, dude, and that show was on my anime list when we were on Geek Devotions. Anyways, my turn. Hey, Kevin, you still out there? We talked about this not too long ago, but every time I see this is the most nostalgic video game thing I own. I've got all kinds of nostalgic video game things that'll bring me right back, but this, I just looked it up. You can get it online for like $9 to $50 online, even in a box. It's third-party controller for the Nintendo. This amazing quick shot, right? And this is mine. It's got the old beat up, dirty stickers that I put on here, and it's still there. But I played, and Kevin's probably going to say it. I used to play baseball stars and all kinds of stuff like that with my feet. With this, look, the foot controller.
Foot controller.
So, like, this is the buttons, and I can't play Tetris with that controller. But dude, I used to play baseball stars with my feet and couple other games with this, and just playing around. This is such a nostalgic thing, because honestly, I've never seen anybody have this, like in my friend groups. I've seen it at a convention a couple times, but it's just so nostalgic to me. The foot controller, yeah. That controller is the size of a small dog. I need that here. How you played baseball stars? Yeah, I mean, just with my feet. Like, it was fun. Anyway.
So did you eat and play with your feet at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, Kevin was there. He put the foot control. I used to play with. Yeah. Anyways, Andy, you get back jacks.
If we're talking nostalgia, I always mention pop punk and emo music, and this next thing, it had to be mentioned today, but it's Pokemon. Pokemon brings so much nostalgia for me.
I got a pack of Pokemon right here.
The video games, the trading cards, the movies, the TV show, everything about it. Pokemon was a big deal in my life. Loved it. So all about that. My last pick is something regionally, although a lot of people have it, but it's different here specifically where I am at. And so much nostalgia because I still get them to this day, but it brings me right back to maybe you were at the ball field, maybe it was a summer day. It's a snowball. Snowball brings so much nostalgia to me. Now, as a kid, I was getting like spearmint flavor or like bubble gum and stuff. Now I'm not doing that. I like I like a bunch of different other flavors, but
my favorite was ice cream. But every time I get ice cream now, it's terrible.
Well, I loved wedding cake with condensed milk, or banana with condensed milk, or nectar, or
any cream flavor with condensed.
Oh, dude, so good. But here's the thing: for those that don't know, it's not shaved ice. It's not a snow cone. It is a snowball. The ice consistency is different. And it's almost like actual snow. It's not crunchy. It's smooth, and it hits.
Here, it's all about the Kona ice, right? And people are like, "Oh yeah, it's not the same."
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
A true Southern Louisiana snowball. And it's not even just Louisiana because
Andy, when I first moved here, I was like, "What could I do that they don't have here?" And I was like, "Buy a snowball machine, a real one, and do real snowballs because they would make a ton." And there is one place. There's one place. It's out by Carson, my daughter's hitting lessons, and it's not open year round because that's what snowballs do. whenever it's open, we always go down there, and it's the closest thing. It's kind of like Pelican.
Yeah.
Andy. It's very much like Pelican snowballs, but still, candy cigarettes are Benjamin. Yeah, I love candy cigarette. Gotta go with the cream flavors. Yeah, Kev. Anything with condensed milk, and they never put enough. They never put enough condensed milk.
Yeah.
All right, my last one, and it's kind of fitting, but this is another one I came up with this weekend. I don't get to do it enough. I usually go once. I try once a year. Now that I live in Atlanta, but I wish I could go more. And actually, I wish I could go there. Which it's a plan to go there. But this Saturday night, I went to a Yankees game with my son. They played the Braves. And it brings me. My dad and my mom used to bring me all over the country to see the Yankees play in different places, and it's a transport back. And this year was so special. One, the Yankees won with a grand slam at the end, but two, my son leans over. He's 10. You guys saw him just a little while ago. He said, "Dad, all the times we've come to baseball games have been fun, but it's never been more fun than this year because I actually understand everything that's going on."
Yeah.
Now I'm so excited to go to another one because it's like we can actually talk baseball. Like before, it's like, "You having fun, son? Can I get some Dippin' Dots?" You know, that kind of thing. Now it's like, we're cheering and everything. Anyways, way too far, much too far talking on Benjamin's. I'm going to talk about going to Yankees games, like actually there. Yeah, 100%.
Love it.
Next.
All right, Oaz, your last pick.
Oh, all right. I'm looking at my list. I'm like, toss up. Which one do I pick? I'm actually going to run off a little bit of what Kirk covered and talked about a little bit earlier is baseball cards. Collecting baseball cards as a kid. There was something about it. Going to the old baseball card shop, Bill's Bullpen, going in there and just seeing the wall covered with all the different baseball cards, the cards on the shelf. You had a little vending machine that you could put a quarter in and you get random cards out of it. There's just something about that because you talk to your friends about it. You trade with your friends. I traded with my cousins and my brother, trying to get your favorite players. I'll give you 2 for 1, 3 for 1. Trying to get your favorite team. Oakland Athletics.
B2 agrees.
But,
hey, so I'll just throw this as a tag partner of that. We did hobbies in episode 4, I believe. Might have been 3. I think it was 4. And it was my George. It was my Georgia hobbies. And now I love collecting with my son. The fact that you gave some cards this week, it really is amazing. But you can actually go watch the video. Kanan and I ripped a few cards. He actually forgot this Ninja Turtle pack that I'm about to go rip with him. But collecting cards is a huge deal. And it's much more fun to open old junk wax because you can buy like 30 packs for like $15 as opposed to like nowadays you get 30 packs. You got to take a loan. But you can get some junk wax and open a bunch and just kind of have fun with it.
Have fun, yeah.
So, and that's what you guys gave. That's what you gave us, a big box of junk wax Dunras. And we were talking. It's like, Dad, this thing's sealed. I don't know if I want to open it. So, anyways, Javi, you're up, and then Pammy finishing us off.
Alrighty, I have to pick this one because it didn't make it anywhere else, but it is my favorite show as a kid. It's actually my ringtone to this day since I've been in college.
It's really annoying.
It's the Broncos Modern Life theme song.
I love Rocco. I love how she's like,
I swear to God, I've had that ringtone since I've been in college.
We've been together 10 years. I've heard that ringtone in my sleep.
It is still my ringtone. I think I will die with it as my ringtone. It is my favorite show.
I love witty cartoons, and Rocco is so witty. It's such a good
That was a hoot.
Yeah. The funny thing about Rocco is that you can watch it nowadays. And he has like jokes are like too for like older people.
Oh yeah. It's like Ren and Stimpy.
That's what I mean. So that's I love when it's not an adult cartoon, but it is.
Yeah.
That, as opposed to, we all know it's an adult cartoon and no kids should watch it.
SpongeBob used to have a lot of that.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of SpongeBob, yeah.
So
lot of
David
those, like-
Bryant, it was great meeting you at Siege, taking the picture and all that. But Warp Pipe guys will be on our show, all three of them, in like 3 weeks.
Nice.
So we're gonna have all of them. Well, we won't have NES Addict, but we will have David, Keith, and Russ. All right, finish them out now, Pammy, and time to go home.
Okay. So my last thing is, this might be like kind of specific, but it's tubing on the lake. We would take the tube on the lake. My dad actually just retired.
I'm getting warped back right now.
And he got a tube. And when I tell you, I went on the tube for the first time probably since I've been like 7, 8, because it's been like forever since we've done something like that. I was just instantly taken back. And you could see my mom so excited to be like that. Like, I could even feel my mom and dad being taken back. Like, that's tiny Pammy. I'm getting emotional because it's like so stupid, but it was like really cute. And I don't know, like tubing on the lake does something. And we tubed on Lake Placid. So that's, as an adult, that's terrifying. I'm like, why didn't my dad have me on Lake Placid? But like, you know,
alligator on there.
Huh? I can tell
Really
you.
Alligator at Lake Placid.
I love that movie. That's
Like,
one of my favorite
maybe.
movies ever.
But like, I'll be honest with you, like alligators in Florida are like so common. Like, I mean, I think
I was just talking about the movie.
oh, well, no, I know, but like,
We used
sorry.
to kneeboard. We used to
With Betty
kneeboard
White.
alligators. We'd be kneeboard and be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
there goes one. Keep going."
Yeah. I'm usually in bed by this time, guys. So like, but like that being said, like tubing on the lake specifically, I love it to this day. Like my dad's like, "Oh, do you want to wrap it up?" And I'm like, "No, I'm 34. Yeah, 34 years old." And it was sad because like the tube stops, and I go fall. Like now I'm an adult, and our son's in the boat, and I kind of go like not falling, but just like bloop off it, you know. And I'm floating there. My dad's come back in the boat, and our son goes, "Mommy, and he's hysterical, and it broke my heart. So now if you fall off the tube, you have to scream to our son, "Mommy, okay? Daddy, okay?" Like, because he'll freak out. But it's really nice to like that my dad is like honoring that family tradition, and it's been like really fun that it's coming full circle. Like Noah was on, our son was on the tube, and it was really nice. So yeah, that's mine. I'm done. Y'all
I love that.
It's 11.
Love that pick.
Easter Standard
That
Time.
is great. And there is the end of our show. So here's a couple things. If you're hanging around this long, thank you for being here. What are your least favorite nostalgia triggers? I looked up one today. I'm gonna throw mine out right now. And I was like, could there be bad nostalgia in there? Can't.
Easy.
This is easy. Whenever I smell old meat, like rotting meat, it brings me right to Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina, the refrigerators on everybody's block just trying to be taped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My worst one, real quick, Sesame Street, the Weimaraner dogs with the people hands.
With the hands.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I
Anyways,
hated it.
thanks
I'll
for
see it
being here.
today and freak out.
Go check out our
demonic.
Instagram to see who won it triggers, and also drop a comment on what's your least favorite in the comments when the video uploads. Make sure you smash that like and all those things. We're going to be back on Thursday with our good buddies from Culture Box over there, Cellcast, and our new friends Monster Vault are going to be on. We're going to do Henshin Heroes. If you don't know what it is, neither did we. We went and looked it up, but we'll be on the show because Nathan picked it. So that's what we do. If you guys want to be on the show, we still have some food episodes open. We have, obviously, we're booking up video games pretty quickly because of Siege. And if you want to be on for music and movies and TV and all that, let us know. Before we head out and tell everybody good night, we passed the 3-hour mark, which we've only done one other time. Owazrim, tell everybody what you got coming up next, how they can find you before we head out.
Starting next month, I'll get back to streaming on Tuesday nights on a regular basis. I took the summer off because we go to the Making Bacon games and a lot of those are on Tuesdays. But that YouTube video is coming out. I'm hoping to get the Sigi video up this week or next, and then more stuff regarding the Sega SG-1000 and the Mark III. That's right, Sega, and more stuff along that. Just old Sega history stuff, hopefully. Well, some modern stuff as well.
I'm excited for all of those things. All of those things. These are a few of my favorite things. And PnX, what you guys got coming up next? Tell people to go into them. By the way, anybody in the chat, drop your channel in the chat.
Yeah, I'll put our website. You can find all of our links in there and everything in the chat. But we got at least 2 or 3 videos for Siege. We got a few cool pickups and some cool stories. And there's some giveaways that are coming out of like these videos and everything. So definitely go check it out. The community is awesome, and we're trying to show off that as much as we can whenever we go to conventions. So definitely go and check it out. It's basically just SoCal Part 2 in a way. So definitely go check our channel. A lot of video game pickups happening, a lot of nostalgia and retro, and then just good old community, really.
It was fun.
Well, we can't be happier to have both of you guys, well, all 3 of you, both channels on here. It's been a long time coming. I mean, it's been about a year, and we can't wait to have you on again. So whenever you guys are ready to come on, if you ever need us to come on you and collaborate with something on your side, you see it as a convention, be sure to bring your camera so we can take a picture, film a little something for your channel, whatever it is. But everybody out there, thank you for hanging out with us Thursday night. It's going to be a fun channel. Go sub all of them, follow them, like their stuff, and you know, support everybody in the channel, everybody in the chat, the Summit Squad. Andy, you got something to say?
Well, thank you guys for being on, and I think we're pushing over 3 hours. It's time to go to bed. It's time to say goodnight to all our friends in the Summit Squad and to everybody who's here. Let's say goodnight like we always do. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4
and nothing more.
Peace out.